A little late start. If you can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Cam.
Okay, so I'm going to do the sunshine announcement
Yes,
first.
please.
So good evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, July 15th in the year 2025. This is a Jersey City Planning Board meeting with the scheduled 5:30 p.m. start time. And in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting has been given to the editor of the Bergen Record, L.S. Belito, and posted with the city clerk on July 11th of this year. This meeting was also posted on the city webpage, and all distribution materials were made available to the board and published and were made available to the public.
Thank you. Can we have a roll call?
Yes. Acting Chair Dr. Gonzalez.
Aye.
Acting Vice Chair Gungadin.
Here.
Commissioner Wick.
Here.
Commissioner Stamato. Here. Commissioner Dr. Desai.
Here.
Commissioner Patel. Here. Okay, we have a quorum. We have 6 commissioners present.
Thank you. Can we swear in the staff?
I see Matt, Tanya, Jean-Rue, Ben, Eric, Cam. Did Matt disappear? Is he coming?
Yes.
Yes.
And Matt, do you guys swear any testimony you give tonight is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, Cam, do we have any correspondence?
Yes, Chair. We have one item that has corresponded with staff. It is item 9 under new business, and address is 301 West Side Avenue. It's for a preliminary and final major site plan amendment with variances, and they have requested to be carried, and they are actually going to renotice to July 29th. So they're being requesting to carry to July 29th, and they will renotice.
So, Cam, if they're renoticing, it's adjourned to July 29th with renotice.
That's correct. Yes. Thank you, Council. And that concludes correspondence.
We just have one announcement that security came to us with. There's a pickup truck outside that's blocking trash pickup. If you are the owner of the pickup truck parked outside on the street blocking the trash, please move it. Thank you.
Thank you, Cam.
And we marked into evidence the sunshine announcement as B1.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, guys, if you can all indulge me, board and public alike, we are going to bring up case from at the very end of our agenda. We have a couple of cases that should not take too long, and we don't want them to be here all night. We won't be here all night, but waiting for this. So I'm going to go ahead and call up a few cases, and it's the same attorney. This is case P 2025-0081. This is number 25 on your agenda, and that is for administrative amendment, address 20 River Court and 52 River Drive South. I think we have Mr. Shelgin here.
Good evening, Mr. Vice Chairman and members of the board. Ronald Shalgin from Schumann Hanlon, appearing on behalf of, there are actually 5 applications which are identical applications.
Mr. Salgian, I suggest we call them all, and then we'll start marking notice individually. Is that how you'd like to proceed?
Yes, but the notice, I included all of the properties in the same notice, so it's only one notice that I'm going to hand the court reporter that covers all the properties.
And therefore, you're comfortable proceeding with all of them as one presentation as well?
That's right.
All right, so...
Save time, and I have one witness, Charles Height, and he'll apply to all of the cases, and it'll be very quickly.
So, Mr. Salgian, we're going to go ahead and call case P2025-0079 with an address of 30 River Court and 52 River Drive South. We're going to call case P2025-0078, 31 River Court and 1 River Court. case P20250077 with an address of 1 River Court, and case P2025-0076 with an address of 25 River Drive South.
That's correct, Mr. Lampe.
Thank you, Mr. Salgian. Mr. Salgian, if I can have your notice. I believe it's the one that was submitted prior to the hearing this evening. Is that accurate? I'll take it because I would like to read it and mark it. Thank you, Mr. Salgian. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I am to receive the affidavit of publication, proof of mailing with respect to the applications at 20 River Court, 52 River Drive South, 30 River Court, 31 River Court, 1 River Court, 25 River Drive South, and 90 Tower Square Place. These do appear to be the same notices that were presented in digital form. These do appear to be the originals. I'll accept Mr. Salgian's representation. We're going to mark them as A1 for purposes of the record on all 5 of the cases that have been called.
Thank you, counsel.
Your witness, Mr. Salgian.
Mr. Height, please.
Hi, good evening.
You swear to testimony you give tonight, is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
For the record, can you state and spell your name?
Charles Height, last name spelled Heydt.
Mr. Height, your license is current?
Yes, it is. Current as a professional planner in the state.
Thank you. You're qualified.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Height, before we begin, I would like you to just state if all of the issues pertaining to all of these cases that we're going to talk about are identical.
Identical and related.
Okay. Now, with respect to case 2025-0081, that's the first case that is in the notice. Would you tell us the purpose of this application and what relief we're asking the board to provide as to that case?
So essentially, this application is being made to implement recent amendments to the Newport redevelopment plan with respect to parking requirements. This application was approved prior to the amendments. The recent amendments now require a 0 minimum parking requirement, and we're implementing that in this set of 5 applications. There are no changes with the amount of parking that actually exists. So there's no physical reductions, movement of any spaces. We did work with a traffic engineer. We did do a utilization study, and then we also, our firm Dresden Robin, did a zoning analysis as to the impact or the implementation of the 0 parking minimums. So with respect to case 0081, it shares a garage. The parking requirement previously was 205 parking spaces. It will now be 0 as part of this change. But we wanted to make sure that the board was aware that the garage that allows or accommodates the parking has 513 spaces. Currently, only the residential use occupies 231 spaces. So there's a substantial lower demand than existing parking.
And does this amendment bring the projects more in conformity with the zoning ordinance?
I think it does. It represents a reduction in automobile dependency and more increase in pedestrian activity and bicycle activity in the area.
Okay, with respect to case 0079, is your testimony the same?
The same. This second site plan application what is also shares the same parking garage. It's the East Hampton garage, and again, it's the same numbers. 513 spaces are existing in that garage. 231 are currently occupied with residential. That parking requirement for that site plan is a minimum of 221, which by way of this site plan amendment will be 0.
With respect to 0078, what is your testimony?
So 0078 and 0077 both share the same Riverside garage. There's a total of 454 parking spaces, 238 are currently used for residential. The existing requirements respectively are 222 parking spaces and 173 required, and both of those will be reduced to 0. And again, that's implementing the new requirements in the Newport redevelopment plan.
And what about 77?
It's the same. That will be going from 173 to 0.
Okay. Did you have an opportunity to review Mr. Black's planning memo today?
I did. And we've had conversations about the details of our studies and reports.
And you agree with the contents of that memo, and the client has agreed to be bound by whatever the contents are?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have anything further, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions?
No.
Okay. So you're done, really?
That's done.
Okay.
I kept my promise.
You did. You did. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Height. I'm going to go ahead and open this to the public. If there's anyone from the public that wishes to speak on these applications? Anyone from the public?
Chair, see no one from the public. I would like to close the public portion.
Okay, public is now closed.
Can I get a second?
Cam. Cam.
Yeah.
Okay, so staff's comments on this application are brief. Shared parking is permitted and encouraged in the Newport redevelopment plan, and this is exactly what this application is doing here. Planning staff agrees with the testimony provided by Mr. Height. And since the applicant and their attorney have already agreed to the conditions in the planning memo dated today, planning staff would just recommend approval.
Thank you, Kim. Okay, let's
Chair,
enter
I
a
will
motion.
call each case number
I have the
and just
paper.
one vote.
Correct.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to approve case P2025-0081, case P2025-0079, case P2025-0078, case P2025-0077, case P2025-0076 as presented to the board for approval.
Okay, on a
Motion made
motion.
and seconded. We'll have a roll call.
Yes, acting chair, Dr. Gonzalez.
Aye.
Acting vice chair, Commissioner Gongadin.
Aye.
Commissioner Wick. Commissioner Stamato.
Aye.
Commissioner Lipsky.
I'm here, but since I wasn't here for the whole thing, I'm going to abstain.
Thank you. Yeah. Out of habit, I just called you. Okay.
Good habit.
Commissioner Dr. Desai.
Aye.
Commissioner Patel.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. All in favor.
Thank you, Cam.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Shelgin, thank you very much.
For the courtesy.
Thank you. Okay, for the record, we just want to make sure and note that Commissioner Lipsky has joined us
At 5:58.
at 5:58. Okay. Our going on to new business, we're going to call case number 8 on your agenda, the review and discussion of certified artist Andrew Walsh, Maria de Los Angeles Cornejo Cisneros, and Roberto Colangeli. Formal action may be taken.
Yes, so with the artist certification, as we always state, the artist board reviewed their applications and they have approved them, sending them to us because they meet criteria 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for the certified artist criteria, and they wish to be eligible for the artist certified housing, and planning staff reviewed their applications and find them to be suitable for the artist certified housing, and planning staff recommends approval.
Okay. Thank you, Cam. Commissioners, any questions?
No.
Okay. Public wants to comment on this case at all?
Chair,
Sing.
see no one from the public. I would like to close the public portion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded.
Okay.
Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the review and discussion of the various artists as presented to the board this evening for approval.
Second.
Motion made and seconded.
Okay. Acting Vice Chair Gongadin.
Aye.
Commissioner Wick. Commissioner Stamato.
Aye.
Commissioner Lipsky,
Aye.
Commissioner Dr. Desai,
Aye.
Commissioner Patel,
Aye.
and Acting Chair Dr. Gonzalez.
Aye, and congratulations.
Motion carries, all in favor.
Thank you. Okay, next case here, again, if you're here for case P 2024-0147, number 9 on your agenda, that is adjourned and will renotice for July 29th.
That's 301 West Side Avenue. 301 West Side Avenue. Anybody here for 301 West Side Avenue, you will receive new notice. It's being adjourned.
Thank you, counsel. Next case to call up is number 10, P 2025-0066. This is for a site plan amendment with C variances. Address is 501 Summit Ave. And I think we have Mr. Brazillo here.
Hi, good evening, Chairman, Acting Chairman, good evening, Commissioners. My name is Gerard Pizzillo. I'm an attorney with Genova Burns, appearing this evening on behalf of the applicant Pathside Co-Holding Company, LLC. The application before you is for an amendment to the preliminary and final major site plan that this board granted under case number P21-144. I did prepare a notice for this application, so with Chairman's permission, if I could approach council and
Please.
present this, which was also uploaded to the portal.
Thank you, Council Chairman. I am in receipt of the affidavit of publication proof of mailing. It does appear to be the same one that was uploaded to the portal. This is the original of that document. I had the opportunity to review it. It did appear to be in order. We're going to mark it as A1 for purposes of the record.
Thank you, counsel.
Thank you, council. And thank you all. As I indicated, we are seeking a minor amendment tonight. The board approved, the project that the board approved was for 53 stories, 605 dwelling units, about 3,500 square feet of public plaza area, and a 140-space valet parking structure. The amendments before you don't change any of that. The height doesn't change, the units count isn't changing, none of the bulk requirements are changing, but rather the amendments are project refinements and programming, mainly on the interior, but there are some minor exterior revisions that you're going to hear the testimony on. This is a project that's under construction, pretty close to being finalized in construction. All of these items before you are proposed, not constructed. And the scope, the big scope of the amendment is the signage. There were a number of deviations, or a few deviations from the last approval related to the signs. And obviously, as the project developed and was being constructed, the ownership team and their consultants went back and looked at the signage, revised it. We think it's a better product, and you'll hear that testimony. There was a narrative provided by the architect detailing all the interior changes. I'm going to save the board the trouble of listening to all of those revisions and rather rely on the narrative that is up on the portal. And of course, happy to answer any questions the board may have as to those interior programming changes. And similarly with our civil engineer, there were some tweaks to the civil engineering plans, which were bubbled and uploaded on the portal. Again, just kind of mirroring what the refinements on the architectural piece. Our civil engineer is here. But I don't intend to have her testify. But again, if the board has any questions on those proposals, happy to answer. So at the end, you'll hear a brief testimony from our architect, Scott Herrick from HLW, on the exterior ground floor changes. And then you'll hear from our professional planner, Carolyn Worstel, as to the justifications of the proposed deviations. So with all that said, I'll turn it over to Scott in a second. And I just want to point out that you'll see in our package, the address is 505, but on the application, it says 499 501. So that 505 didn't come out of thin air. Our client and their team consulted with the tax assessor, and this is going to be the assigned address. So that 505 will match what the building address is going to be when it's finalized. So with all that said, I'll turn it over to Scott, and he can walk you through the proposal. Sure.
One thing, so, okay, so is the document that you're referencing on the portal, the architectural change memo, which is a chart, or the principal point statement?
Oh, as to which we're gonna rely on the narrative for the interior changes. They detail,
So the principal point
but
statement.
the principal point statements, you're gonna hear testimony from Carolyn
Right.
as to the
But that's
justifications for the
the
deviations.
narrative you're talking about, not the chart in the architectural memo.
No, the narrative is the chart. It's a table form. It just shows the page number that's revised and the detail of the item.
So that's the HLW narrative, 499 Summit Ave Tower, Planning Board resubmission, March 17th, 2025.
Correct.
That's a 2-page memo.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, thank you, Scott.
Good evening. My name is Scott Herrick.
Swearing testimony you give tonight is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
And you just said, but for the record, can you state the spelling of your name?
Scott, S-C-O-T-T, last name Herrick, H-E-R-R-I-C-K.
Mr. Herrick, have you been in front of us before?
Yes, several times.
Okay. Is your license active and
It is current
Okay.
in the state of New Jersey.
You're qualified.
Thank you. With permission, I would like to share on the screen a few of the drawings of the set that was submitted for the amendment.
Mr. Herrick, anything different about what you're about to show us from what was submitted, or they are
No,
just
these
the
are
sheets that
taken
were
literally
submitted?
from the drawings that were submitted. I just,
The abridged version of what's up
yeah,
there. So
I've taken specific drawings to show you clearly what's happening. This is, what you're looking at is the ground floor, and what I've circled are the areas where the changes have been made. So towards the top here, an additional retail entry was added. The upper right area here was dedicated for retail. Ownership wanted to demise that to allow for the possibility of 2 retail tenants instead of 1. So in the area, let me just zoom in here. In this area, you'll see we added a canopy to the exterior, which I'll show you in elevation and rendering, and we added a double door retail entry here. Then moving down this east facade, a couple minor changes. Where my cursor is right now is the revised signage that we'll talk about. And then this revolving door was just moved slightly so that it's half in, half out of the exterior facade, whereas previously it was all the way inboard. And then finally, if we move down to this area, oops, let's try that again. This is the drop-off, the valet driveway drop-off and entry, and in this island is this piece of monument art, which is part of our signage, and I'll show that in elevation as well. So if we move to the next drawing, this is an east elevation of the building, looking over the small landscape area to the east facade. To the right here is the added retail entry and retail signage above the canopy. This retail signage and entry was existing. It has not changed. And then right here, and let me zoom in on this. This is one of the 2 signs beyond the retail signs that we're seeking the variance for. And I'll just zoom in on that. In working with the branding, graphics, and signage people, they came up with a concept that is much more graphic, much more of a logo. You'll see the new address 505 here in kind of a stencil cut. So although the area is defined by, kind of corner to corner. You'll see that with this design, a lot of it is really open area, so it's not, it's not quite as big as the overall square footage would suggest.
Scott, can you talk about how that sign is mounted to the wall, please?
Yeah, it's, as is stated in the documents, it's pin mounted. It extends about 3 inches off of the face of the building. There's a 1-inch gap between the signage letters and the face of the building. But overall, it protrudes about 3 inches.
And that is one of the deviations that we're requesting this evening, correct? Because it is not flush mounted, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And briefly, if you could just tell us, is that sign lit?
It is backlit. It's got a halo effect to it.
Okay.
And then if we move further to the left, here is where the valet drop-off is, the driveway, and then here is the island, and here is the monument sign, or the monument art. And it again repeats this same stencil cut vocabulary. It's a metal finish. It's roughly I would call it a light bronze or almost a champagne color. You'll see it in a rendering just here in a moment. And then here is there's an axonometric presentation of what that looks like. And then going to the next sheet, here's a rendered view of what this looks like. In the distance is the new retail canopy. Here's the revolving door protruding out from the face of the building, and then here's the monument art sign in the island. As you can see, it's very complementary to the overall scheme and color scheme and aesthetic of the building. And we believe it's a really nice improvement to the overall appearance from the street.
And that monument sign, so to speak, that also is one of the deviations that we're requesting, correct?
That is correct. And that's all I have to show you this evening. I'm happy to answer questions about any of the other elements. I do have the full set of drawings if anybody has a specific question, but they're all minor changes that are either you don't see from the exterior or just very minor and you wouldn't see them from the ground level.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Herrick. Any questions from the board?
Just one, and the written narrative, it says, in addition, the project is proposing an additional retail wall sign for additional storefront bay as permitted by the redevelopment plan.
Yes.
So that's not included in these renderings, right?
Yeah, that is, it's, you don't see it in this rendering. However, in the elevation that I showed, that actually refers to this retail sign here. This was not here previously. This retail entry was not here previously. The canopy was not here, and the retail signage is not here. So all of that has been added in this amendment.
And it'll match the design of the other two, or
Right.
similarly.
Yeah, very similar. So we've actually, if we pan over, it's shown as essentially being identical to the signage that was in the original application.
Yeah, and Commissioner, those are compliant signage per the plan. Should a tenant want to change that, they'll have to come, petition the city and come back to this board.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
My next final witness, Carolyn Worstel, please.
Good evening. I do. Carolyn Worstel, Worstell.
And Ms. Worstel, we've seen you here before. Your license is current and active?
It is current and active this
Okay,
evening.
you're
Thank
qualified. Thank you.
you. So as my colleague has just discussed, we're here for a couple of deviations with regard to the signage for this application. 2 of them are really more amendments to previously granted deviations, and then 2 of them are new. So talking specifically about the very first 2, which are sort of the modifications, that has to do with the maximum number of residential signs and the maximum signage area. So the project is proposing the 2 signs for residential use. One was that pin-mounted wall sign, and then the second one was that sort of art monument sign. Previously, this board did grant, as part of the original application, deviations for 2 building signs of 24 square feet each. This application is sort of taking that and sort of, again, just sort of modifying it. There's still 2 signs, which was the first deviation, so we're still 2 to 2. And then in terms of the square footage, it's sort of a slight shifting. One of the signs, I think the wall sign, is very slightly reduced, whereas the monument sign is slightly increased compared to what was there previously. But they're both generally about the same size as what they were proportionally when you look at the size of the building and the site itself. They're both still around that 24 square feet. So when I look at this and I say, you know, whether or not this is going to have a substantial change, I don't see this being a substantial change from those originally granted deviations. We're still requesting 2 signs. We're still requesting them to be larger than they were originally. And I do think that the 2 signs, as they are proposed, are really appropriate, again, for the scale of this building and for how it has been designed. You know, we have the one building-mounted sign, which is really facing the street, and we have the second sign, which is located really where the entrance for the parking is. And again, so that's creates, you know, that type of wayfinding for the signage that really identifies sort of the 2 ways that people are really going to enter this building as pedestrians and as residents. So I think overall, you know, these are still very appropriate into the scale and the style of the building, and so I don't see there to be a substantial detriment with these 2 changes. There are 2 new deviations that result from these changes. The first one is the fact that we are taking what was originally a residential wall-mounted sign, and we're changing it into a monument, sort of like a freestanding sign. It's a little bit of a graphic. We're calling it an art monument sign. A monument sign is probably the closest definition of what it is. And it's not one of the permitted signage types here in this redevelopment plan. As discussed, the location of this sign is going to be located within a planting bed. So it's going to be, you know, it's not outright on the sidewalk. It's not really something anyone's going to be impeding anyone. And it really is serving as that sort of wayfinding for that one entrance, which is the valet parking entrance. So we do think, again, that this is an appropriate sign. Again, it's about the same size as that original wall-mounted sign would have been. It's still about that 24 square feet. You know, we think that this is just a much more appropriate sign given this particular site, and that the design is very complementary to the building. And so we don't see a really substantial detriment from changing this one sign from a wall sign to this other style of sign. And that final deviation is for the signage mounting type. And that has to do with the wall-mounted residential sign. And again, this is sort of, we're being very conservative here. It's not technically completely flush-mounted. It is slightly, you know, set back from or offset from the building with the pin mounting, which provides, there's about a 1-inch gap between the sign and the wall. But overall, the sign itself is not more than 6 inches from the face of the building, which is overall consistent with other signage permitted within the Jersey City LDO. So overall, we think that this is, again, consistent with the intent of having sort of a flush-mounted wall sign, but does allow for that backlit halo style. Overall, I think that the requested changes to the signage advances the purposes of the municipal land use law. It is consistent with purpose A, an appropriate use and manner by providing appropriate signage for these residential uses on this specific building, and that it's consistent with purpose I, provide a desirable environment through creative design. Again, we think that these two signs are really appropriate with the design for this particular building, particularly with having that second sign off the building in the planting and having it be more visible for vehicles trying to get to that one entrance. Overall, I don't see that this proposed changes would result in a substantial detriment to the general welfare. I think overall that these changes are, with the signage in particular, are consistent with what was previously granted, and we think that they're appropriate for the building itself. And then overall, with all of the changes that are proposed, and some that even weren't discussed here this evening in detail, but there are a couple of aspects of previous deviations granted by this board which we think have actually been improved by the changes proposed. We are actually increasing the minimum glazing for the rooftop amenity space. Previously, you granted a deviation for 46%, and we're increasing it to 69%, where 80 was what was required. So again, we're making it a better situation with the changes being proposed. Maximum height of enclosed rooftop amenity space decreased from 14 feet down to 13 feet 5 inches, where 10 feet is what was permitted. So again, that's a better condition. And then the minimum glazing at the ground floor storefronts was increased from 52% to 67%, where 80% is what is required. So again, we're making it a better situation. So I think overall, not just even the signs, but overall, all of the changes that are being proposed is really helping to make this overall design and development more conforming. I also do not see that this would be a substantial impairment to the intent and purpose of the zone plan or the zoning ordinance. It's still advancing all of the goals that were with the original submission. It's concentrating cultural, entertainment, commercial, and institutional activities with distinctive and highly accessible areas. And then it's advancing the redevelopment plan objective to reestablish Journal Square as a very, having a primary central business district and activity center. So I think overall, this application really does meet both those positive and the negative criteria necessary to grant the deviations requested. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you, Ms. Rochelle. Anybody from us here? No, commissioners? Okay. Okay, Ms. Rochelle, thank you so much.
Chairman, that'll conclude our presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
No.
Okay. All right, I'll open up to the public now. Anybody in the public that wants to speak on this application?
Seeing no one from the public wishing to speak, I move to close.
Second.
Okay, public is now closed, and I think we have Matt, correct?
Yes. So, staff reviewed the application and found the proposed deviations appropriate. Staff recommends approval. Just ask that all previous conditions remain binding.
Agree to that. All conditions remain in effect in full force.
Thank you, counsel.
Chair would like to make a motion to approve case P2025-0066 as presented to the board with staff recommendation and conditions.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded.
Acting Vice Chair Gangadin.
So I think the variance requested is very minimal and not detrimental, so my vote is aye.
Commissioner Wick. Aye. Commissioner Stamato.
Aye.
Commissioner Lipsky.
I think it'll make a fine addition to the neighborhood. I vote aye.
Commissioner Dr. Desai.
Aye.
Commissioner Patel.
Aye.
And Acting Chair Dr. Gonzalez.
Yeah, I like this project initially. I like it now again. I think the variances are de minimis, and they meet the goals of the redevelopment plan and advances its objectives. So I vote aye, gladly. Good luck.
Motion carries. All in favor.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Okay, next case to call up is case 11 on your agenda, case P2025-0122. This is a review and discussion of amendments to the Journal Square 2060 redevelopment plan regarding public parking, public rights-of-way, permitted uses, map changes, and the transfer of a parcel from the St. John's redevelopment plan. The review is authorized by Resolution 24-612. Formal action may be taken.
All right. Yeah, good afternoon, Commissioners. We are going to be, Matt and I are going to be, Matt and Matt, be presenting this amendment to you. Yeah, as stated in the listing for the item, this was authorized by a resolution of council in August 2024 to look at amendments to Journal Square 2060 and the St. John's redevelopment plan. When we're presenting, it's going to look like it's all Journal Square, Journal Square, Journal Square, because really the to cut to the chase on St. John's is that it's a map change, basically. It's folding it into Journal Square. So if we glaze over that piece or need more information on that, let us know, and we'll certainly do that. We do have a presentation that we'll be doing, which wasn't posted to the portal. Very short. It's just 6 pages. It's going to be the proposed amendments Journal Square 2060 presentation. And we also have floor amendments to the Art Walk and loading bonus. Let me just get the correct name. The Lowe's Art Walk and loading bonus, there's a floor amendment that staff would like to propose to and explain to the commissioners tonight. But we want to mark in the presentation and the floor amendment, and we have copies of the floor amendment to hand out to the board as well.
So Matt, for purposes of record, B1 and B2, is that?
Yeah, B1 and B2. For the presentation, we'll do is B1, and B2 will be for the floor amendment doc. That is a 12-page document. It also includes a floor amendment to the parking bonus map, which we'll explain as well in the presentation. So if we could bring up the presentation, we'll get right into that. Why can't I? I'm not really picking up here. Okay, there we go. Okay. Perfect, thank you.
Give it to you for the packet. No, I got it. I guess replace it.
No?
Yeah. Amendments, thanks. That one, I know. I don't know. So this thing, which is,
How is it now?
That's not on the portal.
I took it all away. Go for it. Is it not there?
I think they're gonna.
This isn't going to this, right?
No, it could. Is it not there, Cam?
Oh, there it is.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I will try not to.
Oh, it seems every time we go into presentation.
Okay. One moment, everyone. I guess we'll do it the different way.
It was the PDF.
It's the evidence one. Okay. Thank you for your patience, everyone. So on the agenda is the Lowe's Art Walk and loading bonus, the corner bonus E, public parking, replacement of dwelling units subject to rent control and beneficial uses. These are new sections that are proposed to the redevelopment plan. And then there are several kind of housekeeping items updates and edits to existing sections. So that would be the zoning map changes, deviation request provisions, mandatory affordable housing requirements with regards to height and feet, a renaming of the office space bonus to commercial unit use bonus, and updating the standards for the permitted uses in Zone 6, which is the preservation zone of the redevelopment plan. Moving on. So the first item is the Lowe's Art Walk bonus. This is a bonus that, one, changes map 6, the circulation map. You can see in the map on your right-hand side of the screen that there's these two bubbled areas that we're talking about when we talk about this Lowe's Art Walk bonus. One, the one to the screen right, is this Art Walk widening and loading area. And then the Tunnelly Avenue Art Walk connection is this area between Bryan Place and Tunnelly Avenue, which is in this dark line here. So this bonus is proposed to secure a more inviting Lowe's Art Walk and a shorter connections between the square and areas northwest, specifically areas like India Square and Mana Contemporary. And the utilization of this bonus would require on-site affordable housing. And the compliance with this bonus would permit an additional 7 stories on top of their max permitted height. And there's really 2 buckets for this art walk, bonus. One is the art walk widening and loading area. This would require a setback for any adjacent development near the Lowe's of an area that totals at least 2,400 square feet and maintains at least 5-foot setback, widening in certain areas to account for just how we think pedestrian flows through the area would be best utilized. In addition, both of these bonus options require an open space contribution for acquisition or improvement in the plan area of $3 million each. So there could be a potential of $6 million raised through a contribution and utilization of this bonus for acquisition and improvement of open space in the plan area. That is part of the floor amendment. That, as well as the 7 stories and slight alteration to the setback area. The Tunnelly Avenue Art Walk would require coordination with the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey to create a connection adjacent to the 808 Pavonia development, which is actually broken ground. It's the former parking garage behind the Lowe's, that site. It's going to have a promenade that's going to connect through from the Lowe's Theater Art Walk through their site and end at Bryan Place. Well, there's one more block that really needs to happen to make this a connection that actually goes between 2 major corridors, Tunnelly Avenue being one, is this idea of creating a pedestrian connection at the top of the railroad cut. There's a retaining area, and we think that they could create a platform that connects from Bryan Place into Tunnelly Avenue. So that's the other component of this Art Walk bonus. When this resolution came to be, one of the items that Councilman Boggiano requested staff look at was a public parking bonus. And so that's incorporated into these amendments. This bonus, known as or labeled Bonus E, would permit increased heights for the provision of public parking on site. This is a bonus that's crafted in a way that would sunset. So we're looking for a specific amount of parking, totaling totaling 660 spaces. Once we get to a certain number, this bonus would sunset and no longer be available, even though on the map to your right, it's showing that it could be in multiple locations. So because it sunsets and because the map is populated with all these different options, we don't know where this bonus will be utilized. So we are allowing it in more places than more places just because we don't know who's going to utilize this now or later, and when. So we don't want to see this come on forever because we think that there is a balance that we need to have for public parking. That's one reason why the Journal Square 2060 has parking maximums rather than minimums. And the main goal here is to require public parking at hourly or daily rates. Anyone that utilizes this bonus would have to coordinate with the Jersey City Redevelopment Agency and specify validation policies, hours of operation, holidays, holiday pricing, venue usage, preserved spaces, branding between facilities, and closure procedures, as well as SID coordination. And I'll explain this last slide before I hand it off to my colleague here, Matt, as well. So we are also making some changes to map 2. We're correcting for some split lot zones or split lot properties that are under common ownership. Those are in reference to these areas specifically on this map, and there's bullets to the left here. And then in the resolution, it asks us to look at St. John's, which is roughly this larger area here that I'm circling with my mouse. And this particular site, people would know this as developed with a parking lot, or parking structure above the Dollar Tree, 3000 Kennedy. This is being recommended to be folded into the Journal Square 2060 redevelopment plan and assigned Zone 3 under the provisions of this plan. This zone change, it's a rezoning, so it would require inclusionary zoning, and the existing mandatory affordable housing provisions of the plan require that there would be on-site affordable housing already. The other areas that are circled on this map, there is a bank site that's adjacent to a surface parking lot, which are just separate parcels. We're folding them both into the same zone, Zone 4. There is areas on Van Ripen folding into Zone 3, and areas on Cottage folding into Zone 3 as well. I will hand it over to Matt. So I'll just pull up this slide so that we're more in some of these other bullets, but he'll go over some of these other items, which are more text heavy and not visual heavy.
Right. So in addition to those 2 new bonuses, as well as those map changes, we have several what we're deeming housekeeping items. They're small revisions that allow the plan to more effectively meet its goals. So the first item is a change to the mandatory affordable housing requirements that apply to zones 1 and 3, which currently, as an accommodation for the mandatory affordable housing requirement, up to 20 stories of extra height can be provided in those buildings in zones 1 and 3. The current version of the plan does not specify bonus height in feet, however. So we are imposing a limit of 220 feet, roughly 11 feet per story, for your bonus accommodation height. So now any development project in zones 1 or 3 utilizing utilizing the mandatory affordable housing accommodations can only be 220 feet higher than what the previous zoning allowed. And this mostly affects Zone 3 because Zone 1 does not have a height limit. Furthermore, Councilman Boggiano's office requested or noticed concern about the demolition of rent-controlled housing units within the Journal Square area. And in order to, A, disincentivize the demolition of rent-controlled housing, and B, ensure in the case rent-controlled housing is demolished, have its adequate replacement, we are adding a provision called the replacement of dwellings subject to rent control. And every And this means any development project that involves demolition of rent-controlled units, for each unit demolished, has to provide one affordable unit, affordable to low-income households, meaning 30% of the area median income for each rent-controlled unit that's lost to demolition. This ensures the adequate replacement of housing affordable to those low-income households that have called Journal Square home for a long time, and we hope keep calling Journal Square home. We're adding a beneficial uses overlay, which applies to every single district in the plan except for Zone 2. Zone 2 is the air rights zone, and so it doesn't have any established development capacity. That's for a future amendment and future plan proposal. And so the beneficial uses relate to the types of uses that, are serving basic community needs, and are often overlooked in zoning codes and definitions, but often state law establishes they should be allowed in plenty of places, and it's certainly our policy to not put up barriers to these types of uses here in Journal Square. And the list of uses that are allowed anywhere in the plan by the beneficial uses overlay include senior housing, assisted living residences, community residences for the developmentally disabled and or with head injuries. That is a legal term. Apologize for the political incorrectness. Community residences for the terminally ill and hospice care. Community shelters for victims of domestic violence. Continuing care retirement communities. Dormitories. Independent living facilities. Long-term care facilities. Nursing facilities. Nursing homes. Museums, galleries, and cultural institutions. Theaters and performance venues. Schools and universities. Parks and open space, and daycare centers. So those uses will now be allowed throughout the entire plan, with the exception of Zone 2, as I mentioned. Furthermore, we are amending the text of Zone 6, preservation, which is the zone that basically applies a form of historic preservation to the existing structures, saying that those structures can't be demolished. There was previous language that, encouraged the continuity of use, but gave the planning board sort of broad authority to, condition any use they thought appropriate. We thought for certainty's sake, for both the community, developer, and board, we struck that language and replaced it with an explicit list of uses allowed in Zone 6 preservation, which include residential uses above the ground floor, retail sales of goods and services, financial services, offices, art galleries, live-work units, home occupations, restaurants, hotels, bed and breakfast, child and adult daycare centers, theaters, nightclubs, bars, schools, community centers, government uses, and any combination of the above. These align with the uses generally allowed in the mixed-use zones of the plan, such as Zone 5 and Zone 3, and ensure the mixed-use energy, the commingling of residential density, and plenty of commercial and retail opportunities continues, and these structures align with that while preserving their built form and their historical heritage. Lastly, there is a slight change of the deviation powers granted to the board to align the plan with state law. The previous plan included several powers that planning staff believes to be illegal under state law, and so we just struck that language to align state law in the plan's text. And lastly, to reflect, if anyone recalls the last amendment to the Journal Square 2060 redevelopment plan, we expanded the uses allowed in the office space bonus to include retail, restaurants, hotel, a plethora of commercial uses representing the sort of the shopping and commerce district that Journal Square is, and perhaps also reflecting that it's been tough to attract office tenants within Journal Square. We are renaming that district to reflect the expanded uses, the commercial use bonus. And lastly, so the municipal land use law and the state redevelopment law requires the planning board to make a determination of whether the proposed amendment is consistent with both the goals and objectives of the redevelopment plan itself, as well as the Jersey City's master plan, which outlines the broader plan for growth and development of the city. Staff prepared a master plan consistency report dated 7/3/2025, and it was up on your portal, summarizing the contents of the amendment and outlining the ways in which the plan is consistent with both the redevelopment plan goals and the master plan goals. I'll start very quickly with master plan consistency. The Art Walk especially really elevates a lot of our connectivity and mobility goals, including investing in placemaking at transit nodes, enhancing pedestrian and bicycle connectivity, and improving connections between parks, open spaces, and community facilities. As Matt mentioned, ultimately, hopefully with full build out in the Art Walk, there will be a continuous, active pedestrian right-of-way connecting from the Journal Square Transportation Center, past the Lowe's Theater, past the future Pompidou Museum, and ultimately all the way to Manning Contemporary. In terms of economic opportunity goals, staff finds that the proposed amendments enhance economic opportunities along regional corridors, of which John F. Kennedy Boulevard is a notable regional corridor. Celebrate and beautify the public realm, recognize and promote the richness of our historic assets, especially with allowing more flexible adaptive reuse of our historic buildings in the preservation zone. Restoring and establishing grid connectivity. This creates and preserves sort of pedestrian inner blocks within our larger vehicle blocks and ensures the porosity of the urban form. Repurpose and reuse existing structures, increasing walkability in large footprint retail districts, creating a balanced housing supply, which includes some of these map changes as well as the inclusion of 3000 Kennedy to enhance that mixed-use, high-density character of Journal Square, and tying future private development to expanded public amenities. The Art Walk bonus and the public parking bonus both ensure that alongside the private development that happens with our city, we're getting public assets that benefit the community at large. The land use element of the plan identifies Journal Square as, in the land use typologies, as a commercial core area. This means a large concentration of commercial uses, including retail and offices that serve the region, and employ a workforce both within and without Jersey City, and is also associated with high residential densities. The proposed amendment reinforces and enhances these characteristics, and hopefully will further center Journal Square as a center of both commerce and residential living here in Jersey City. Lastly, regarding redevelopment plan consistency, staff has found that the proposed amendment aligns with Objective 1, reestablishing Journal Square as Jersey City's primary central business district and activity center. Objective 3, integrating open space into the area by incorporating a system of parks, plazas, and natural amenities. Objective 5, make walking and biking easy, safe, desirable, and convenient mode of transport. Objective 6, encourage local quality retail within the greater Journal Square area. Objective 7, reducing automobile dependency by encouraging high-density development in close proximity to mass transit with low automobile parking ratios and with bicycle parking requirements. Objective 8, providing for urban amenities such as transit, housing variety, open space, and entertainment that will attract new employers and a range of new residents to the area while sustaining existing neighborhoods. Objective 9, encourage adaptive reuse of existing structures. Objective 11, remove vacated, deteriorated, and obsolete structures. Objective 12, improve traffic circulation through the development of new and improved vehicular and pedestrian circulation systems, which provide for the separation of vehicular and pedestrian traffic and the maximum use of public transportation. Objective 13, coordination of redevelopment activities, reinforcing already existing adjacent renewal programs in accordance with the master plan for the city overall. Objective 14, provide for the conservation and preservation of select structures with historic or architectural significance and provide opportunity for adaptive reuse for future generations. Objective 15, encourage the private sector to consolidate development parcels to allow for sufficient building step-backs providing light and air to the street and adjacent properties. And Objective 19, create major new employment, housing, educational, recreational, commercial, and retail opportunities for the residents of Jersey City. With the contents of that report, staff recommends a finding of consistency with both the master plan and the redevelopment plan. And that concludes staff's presentation on this amendment.
Yeah, if the board has any questions for us, we'd be happy to field them.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. And Matt, any questions from the board? That was a great presentation. Thank you.
So I live in the area, and 3000 Kennedy Boulevard, a few weeks ago, a couple of months ago, had a car go through, it was in its parking deck, go through the wall and come down into this walkway where there's the Hudson Pride's involved, there's a daycare center. I mean, thank God nobody got hurt, but, you know, when I saw that 3000 Kennedy Boulevard was added, I'm saying to myself, are there provisions? I mean, I talk about minimum and maximums. Is this particular parcel looking to expand its parking, or?
It's my understanding that there might be a need to redevelop the already redeveloped site, which is in one of the oldest redevelopment plans in the city. The plan does recognize the existing development insofar as it's requiring that the walkway behind it may be maintained in any future development. Also, it's typical for newer developments to wrap their parking, so that hopefully will aid in a problem like you're describing. That is a terrible, terrible thing to hear.
Any other questions? Nope. All right, at this point, I think I'm going to open this to the public. Is there anyone from the public that wishes to speak on this?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Charles Harrington of Conifoli. I represent the owners of 52 Cottage LLC. They're the, actually that's the entity. They own lots 15 and 49 in block 7903. And the purpose of our comments is to request that the board consider a floor amendment. And if you indulge us we have a slide deck, just I think a picture's worth 1,000 words, so that the board can see what we're speaking about. And I'll just we'll mark this as A1 if that's okay for the record.
I have B1 and B2. So, council, I don't think A1 is appropriate. I will say I1, or
Okay.
P1 rather.
P1.
P1.
Can you tell me what it is, council?
Yes, P1 is a slide deck that we prepared consisting of 28 sheets. Don't worry, I'm not going through 28 sheets.
I thought you said a picture, council.
No. So let me just maybe back up while we'll walk through it. So first of all, my client supports the amendments. We're not here to oppose the amendments. But we have been discussing proposed amendments with planning.
Council, can we take that off the screen for a second? Okay. We're getting ahead of ourselves here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what
You gonna take it down? Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
I was waiting for your comments, counsel.
Waiting for my comments?
You were starting to give introductory comments while
Okay.
things were on the screen.
Sure. So, yeah, I'll give introductory comments and I'll move to the screen. So, yeah, my client supports the amendments. They own the property there. We have been in discussions with Councilman Bogiano in his office. They have represented to me personally, they support what we're proposing tonight. We have been working with planning. Planning has different ideas whether or not this is appropriate, but we want to present it to the board because we think it's an appropriate time because there are map changes before this board. And what we're proposing is properties that are located between Van Ripen and Cottage Street are all Zone 4 right now. We are requesting that these particular properties be remapped as Zone 3. Part of the reasoning, and maybe if we go to the slide deck, it might help the discussion, is that, can we show this now, or?
We can, but I guess, counsel, let's get a couple of things out on the table and clear. What you're talking about and what you're advocating on behalf of your client has no connection to any of the things that we heard from planning staff in terms of their proposals.
That's correct. This would be in addition to what staff has proposed to the board.
All right, so we're all clear. Planning staff has made their proposal as to what should be changed, and now you're going to show us something else that your client would like changed, and that's part of what will be depicted in the photo, I guess, is where that property is located,
That's
as I
correct.
understood it. So who is the gentleman that is with you?
Alvaro Castaño, working on behalf of the client. ALVARO CASTANO.
No, he's really just here to take us through.
Why I
the slide
asked you,
deck.
counsel. So is he just going to put the pictures that you would like to use up on the screen?
That's correct.
And are these self-authenticating pictures?
Yes, they are. They consist of some tax maps that were marked up and highlighted personally by myself that were inserted into the slide deck, and then other photographs that he put into the slide deck. Well, and they're photographs of the developments within the immediate area that I'm sure all the board members are aware of already.
So, Chair, members of the board, it's obviously up to the board. I have no issue with the, tax map being shown to get us familiar with the property that Mr. Harrington is discussing. As to everything else, again, I don't know what it sounds like the request is that these properties owned by your client be moved into a different zone in the redevelopment plan.
Those properties and adjacent properties. There are properties.
So why don't we pull up the map?
Yes, let's do
Let's
that.
start there.
Okay, if you could go to the next sheet there. So what you're seeing now are the lots within Block 7903. That all of these lots are currently in Zone 4 in the Journal Square redevelopment plan area, and a number of them.
1 second, counsel. All right, so purposes the record, P1 is tax map sheet 79? Yes?
Yes, that's sheet number 2 in the slide deck.
We're only going to mark what's shown.
Okay.
So, and we're going to go one sheet at a time since we're not going through all 28 sheets.
Okay.
So P1 is sheet 79 of the tax map of the city of Jersey City. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. And counsel, I believe you stated that you highlighted this?
I did,
Okay.
and that's my handwriting. So this is my rudimentary,
It's not bad, counsel. It's not bad.
when I
It's legible.
sent it to Councilman Bogiano in the planning division. So these are lots that we are requesting, not just my clients, but overall to change from zone 4 to zone 3. My client owns lot 15 and 49, which are at the western end of this tax map. And if you maybe go to we'll show you the connection here. So this, it will be P2.
Yes.
And this is the tax map with additional representations as to what has been developed there. And you'll see what I show is as box 1 is the 35 cottage Namdar development that is adjacent to the Homestead Place extension. So under the Homestead Place extension, that is has been developed under zone 3. So it already exists, right? And then what I show in box 2 is I call the Sokolov development. That is another development that has been developed under the Homestead extension, and the lots, go all the way to the east as you go east on Cottage. So that also has been developed under zone 3. Box number 3 is another Namdar development that has been developed under the Homestead extension bonus, and that has been developed under zone 3. And then what I show is box 4 is additional properties, and actually the two lots that front on Cottage Street really could be part of that zone, that the box 4, because all of those lots can be developed under the Homestead extension bonus under zone 3. And I can represent to the board that I know Mr. Namdar already has some of the lots adjacent to Homestead under contract, or he owns them already. So those will be developed under zone 3. So my client's properties are on the western edge there, that front. And let's go to the last sheet. Yes, that one, yes.
Your laptop disconnected. It's reconnected again. Now it's disconnected. Now it's reconnected. Now it's disconnected.
Try that again.
Just wait, maybe.
Oh my God.
What happened?
It's not going through.
I'm trying to correct 100%. This is,
One more time.
you know where the Port Authority bus station, right? That's the Bonnier. The next block over is Van Dyken, and then the block over is Cottage. So that's that whole walkway from Livonia through to North.
Ever had these problems with the boards, counsel?
I have copies if you'd like.
They force you to use the technology, see?
Would you like the handout?
They're going
Go old school?
to North Avenue. I didn't see any opposition. Though we got an opposition from Solomon.
It's gotta be a cable to connection somewhere.
Piece, the Pulte thing. I don't know if you saw that. No, but he's saying is that the council's intention was that if it did expire, it should go
Doing
back.
so well.
come down there and fix
Right.
this. One last time.
Are you presenting? Do you know if it's
Yep.
extending the display?
The staff laptop had technical difficulties when we went into PowerPoint mode, so it might be extending the display.
Let me see.
On my video, I have the planning board, the map from the city.
Can we distribute that?
We're talking about the light.
Should I distribute, can we move forward with the handouts, or?
You can't hand out the entire set, so you gotta start pulling sheets out.
Hey, we got it.
Hey.
Talk quickly.
Sorry about that. All right, nobody touch anything.
Leave it.
Okay,
So council, this is P3?
P3.
Okay.
Okay, so you see P3, this is the tax map again, and the red hatched lots are the ones that are owned by my client. So he's on the western edge. So the idea is all of the lots to the east could be developed under the homestead in Zone 3, as well as these lots if they had a collaboration with Mr. Namdar. But this gives you an opportunity to develop it under Zone 3, separate and apart, if that were the case. So we just think at this point, since you have all of these lots in this immediate area is already being developed or could be developed under Zone 3, and there are map changes that are occurring under this amendment, that it would be appropriate to make this change as well. And I won't go into the photos of all the projects in the immediate area. I mean, kind of like, to steal a legal term, we'll take judicial notice that there's a lot of buildings around here that are high, that have been built under Zone 3. And then I think one of the benefits here too is, if these were changed from Zone 4 to Zone 3, the affordable housing requirements kick in right away. I know that there are amendments that are being proposed at a later date for Zone 4 properties, but this is something then would trigger that mandatory affordable housing program for any projects here that are built with 30 units or more. So I do, we don't have a planner with us tonight, but I think that all the things that Matt Matt DeSilva spoke to with regard to the consistency and the master plan and the redevelopment goals, I think these have the similar reasoning and consistencies with all that, with the map changes being proposed tonight. So with that said, we're asking the board to review this and consider it in your vote tonight, whether you think it's appropriate to add this map change to these particular properties. And they're all, it would be all the yellow area. I do have a list of the property, the assessment list of the properties, but I know the lots are there, all in 7903. And that's our pitch tonight.
Thank you, council.
Chairman, may I ask a question?
Yes.
So the properties west of the two, I think it's 2 or 3 parcels, are the red ones your clients?
My
Yes, the
client-
red ones.
The red ones, those are owned by my client.
So the ones west of that, are they also Zone 4 or Zone 3?
They are all Zone 4.
All Zone 4, okay.
Yeah, and then as you move to the east, like these are all Zone 4, but if you see Lot 35 and 36, those are lots on Van Ripen to the east. Right next door to that, 3201, that's Zone 3. So you have Zone 3's fronting Summit, and then when you go down to JFK, you have Zone 3 again. So, and this, because of the Homestead extension, you basically have all Zone 3 developments there.
Thanks.
Yeah, and my client is also in discussions to purchase Lot 16,
So that would be directly adjacent to a homestead project.
Question. Is this, you're familiar with the shape factor, right?
Yes.
Is this compliant with the shape factor, what you're showing here as one lot?
This, I don't know if it'd be compliant with the shape factor, but that would be, then the issue would be if he purchases lot 16, possibly lot 46, 47, that is something that could be addressed in the future. I believe it gives an opportunity to other homeowners to consolidate and possibly build something together.
Okay. I don't think it's worthwhile for the board to look at this drawing here up at the top. We're unsure that this is a compliant lot. We're unsure that this is a compliant building with Tower on the Base standards, which would be in effect should this project be, or this lot be put into Zone 3. And I think it's worthwhile going over some history from last August when the resolution was passed till today. So this was a resolution brought to city planning by Councilman Boggiano. There was public meetings done, one with Journal Square Community Association in February and one with Hilltop Neighborhood Association in February of this year. And there was proposed changes that would apply to Zone 4, Zone 4A, Zone 7, Zone 8, and in coordination with, or in just discussing it through after those meetings with the councilman, the entirety of the amendments were at jeopardy. So staff advised the councilman that we wouldn't move forward with those amendments, which would make broad changes, not changes here that look larger than they actually appear, but are actually very small and I think unmeaningful to the future of amendments that staff is considering for this area. But those were removed. And I know that it was put on the record that Councilman Boggiano supports these, but he also supports staff in making the removal of this and coming back to him and making a recommendation that we did to the board. We don't believe we should move forward with that this time. We think that in keeping with what we've communicated with the councilman, and he's communicated that to the neighborhood associations, it's better to hold on any changes in Zone 4 in this respect. All the homestead projects are immediately Zone 3 with their own special setback standards and step back standards. This change looks larger than it appears. It is rather not. It's rather a very small change, and I would even use the word arbitrary. We recommend that the board not consider this floor amendment.
And Matt, I guess it's more than safe to assume that, if I heard you correctly, we're planning staff, yourself, Matt, and the rest of the planning staff team have been studying amendments to the Journal Square redevelopment plan for about a year now. Is that
correct?
And obviously, that doesn't
yes.
include all the time that went into the development of the plan and the vision work that obviously we've been hearing about since we put the Journal Square 2060 plan into effect. So
that's right. And these lots, which let's just look at them individually, the one that faces Cottage and the one that faces Van Ripen, those wouldn't even qualify for the mandatory affordable housing requirements as drafted in the version that was reviewed and presented to the public and to the councilman and discussed at length. there was a trigger for 9,000 square feet. If we're just looking at these lots, maybe the one on the north side, just because I can't quite read the depth. It looks like 123. I don't know, but the 50 by 100, it's not even close. Both of them, I don't think, are even close to the 9,000. And combined, I'm not even sure this lot's a conforming lot under the provisions of the plan. More notably the shape factor requirements. So I think they're far off the mark of what was proposed and then removed at the request of the councilperson, and that staff wishes to come and revisit without really much change other than maybe the list of districts that it's going to apply to.
So there's also your opinion that this would be inconsistent with both the redevelopment plan as well as with the master plan as proposed?
Yes.
Through the chair, if I may, to the attorney, do you know the lot size to confirm?
I'd have to, I believe together they're over 9,000 square feet. I'd have to,
It's 10,900 square feet.
And Matt, what's the requirement for that lot size?
Under
Zone 3.
To be in zone 3, there's no requirement on lot size to be in zone 3. Where there might be some confusion, and what I was saying earlier was that in the provisions that would layer in a mandatory affordable housing requirement in zones 4 and others, not 1 and 3, which already exist in the plan. There was a threshold that it would apply to only lots 9,000 square feet or more. And the goal of that was to allow for smaller lots to remain as is, because there was a voiced opinion and concern about making sure that there is still a mix of housing types and typologies. So not to broad stroke put on a mandatory affordable housing requirement for a lot that's really small. So the idea was once the lot gets to a certain size, it's better able to accommodate a mandatory affordable housing requirement, which results in additional height to actually subsidize the requirement that is being mandated. I mean, are we marking this one? Are we marking this sheet?
This was not marked.
since it's up there, we can mark it as P4.
But, they're giving us a little couple bullets here, but they still don't tell us if it's a conforming lot.
Yeah,
The intent would be he's talking to people directly adjacent to these lots, but this would open a door to permit that. But I
don't know that I agree with that, counsel. Okay. Right? I have no idea how ownership is held. I have no idea if this is one lot or multiple lots. I have no idea what the topic of those conversations are and whether or not this would affect that, but it has nothing to do with what this board's here to do. So.
Understood.
I think we have the benefit of the opinion of our planner. We've heard council's comments and the requests of the interested party. I think we open it up to the public, Mr. Chair, for
Yes, sir.
anybody else from the public, and then the board can make whatever decision the board is comfortable making.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
counsel.
Thank you, counsel. At this time, I will open it up to the board. Is there anyone here from, I'm sorry, the public? Anybody here from the public to speak on this?
Seeing no one from the public, I move to close.
Okay, the public is now closed. And Matt, I think.
So staff would recommend that the board consider the amendments with the floor amendments as presented to the board here tonight for approval and recommendation to council.
So to be clear, that means the refined text with the blue highlights for the Lowe's Art Walk bonus, as well as the version of the quarter bonus map that adds what is known as the Seth Martin site on Hoboken Avenue near 139. as an appropriate site for Corner Bonacy. Those are the changes between the documents that were made public 10 days ago and the floor amendments staff brought tonight.
Thank you, Matt. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
So Chair, I would like to entertain that motion for case P2025-0122, and to add the floor amendments that was presented to the board as well.
Just want to make clarification.
Right.
Are we including the floor amendments by staff or
Floor amendments by the public.
by public?
Sure.
Floor amendment by staff and the public,
Both?
both.
They're oppositional, right? It would have to be one or the other.
The motion as made by the vice chair is for the floor amendments by the board and including the floor amendment proposed by the member of the public, or
add the specific property into the Zone 3.
that is the motion you want to bring forth?
Correct.
So that's the motion. So I would just tell the board, that's the motion being made by the vice chair. If it does not get a second, there will be no roll call and the motion can't move forward. If somebody wants to put forth a different motion,
Well, we have to finish this first.
we would have to finish this first, absolutely. So does anybody want to second that motion?
Seeing no second, I move to approve case P225-0122 as presented in our agenda and as affirmed by the planning staff.
So that's to
motion.
move forward with the proposal and amendments by the board without the proposed amendment from the member of the public. And that was seconded by member Stamato.
So we have a motion and a second. We do roll call?
Okay.
Yes.
Just making sure the board understands what they're voting on.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
can do that, Matt.
Acting Vice Chair Gangadin,
Aye.
Commissioner Stamato,
Aye.
Commissioner Lipsky,
Aye.
Commissioner Dr. Desai,
Aye.
Commissioner Patel,
Aye.
Commissioner Wick, and Acting Chair Dr. Gonzalez.
Yeah, I think that the presentation by staff was consistent with the goals and objectives of the redevelopment plan, and they meet the objectives of the Jersey City Master Plan, so I vote aye.
Motion carries with staff floor amendment. All in favor?
Okay?
Chairman, may I take a break?
Yes. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and take a break, and it's going to be a 10-minute break. We'll be back at 7:33. Let us come back to order. I've called case P2025-0052. This is number 12 on your agenda. This is a preliminary and final major site plan with C variances. Applicant is 109-111 Beacon Avenue, LLC, and address is 109 Beacon Ave.
Good evening, Acting Chair, Commissioners. For the record, Benjamin Wine of Prime Tuvel and Maselli on behalf of the applicant, 109-111 Beacon Avenue, LLC. I'll start for Mr. Olampi. This is a notice case. We did provide notice, and it should be on your portal. I'm happy to provide the original affidavit package if you so desire.
Thank you,
Chairman, I receive the affidavit of service proof of publication with respect to the application at 111 and 109 Beacon Avenue here in the city. It does appear to be the same affidavit that was posted on the portal. It does appear to be the original. Had the opportunity to review it. It did appear to be in order. We're going to mark it as A1 for purposes of the record.
Thank you, counsel.
Thank you, counsel. So the application before you this evening, we are here seeking preliminary and final major site plan along with C variance and deviation relief for the property located at 109 and 111 Beacon Avenue, located for the record, block 5704, lots 3 and 4, and we are the final two pieces of the puzzle that are known as the Hopkins and Central Avenue redevelopment plan. As you'll hear as we go through our presentation briefly this evening, I'm sure everybody's familiar with the large building right at the corner at 70 Central. This was all envisioned by your redevelopment plan as being one holistic development, but as things shook out over the years, another developer ended up developing the building, leaving two lots as part of this redevelopment plan undeveloped. And what we're here this evening is seeking to be able to infill that development and effectively complete your redevelopment plan and put it and make it, I guess, to use a Stevie Wonder term, signed, sealed, delivered. It would be a complete redevelopment plan at that point. What we're proposing is what you'll ultimately see on the screen, a 5-story development that will consist of 14 residential units above 14 parking spaces. And we really do have two areas of relief this evening, which are a little bit unique, and you'll definitely see them and hear them explained. But specifically, our rear lot line is a diagonal. Again, this was originally envisioned as an entire whole block or half block redevelopment, but because we are fronting with the front of our building along Beacon Avenue, our rear yard is a diagonal lot line leading to a minor deviation from the redevelopment plan on the ground floor and the upper floor. Specifically, on the ground floor, one of the sides is permitted a 0-foot setback in the rear, and the other side is required a 5-foot setback. We have 4.67 feet, so you're not hearing me incorrectly. That's a 0.33-foot deviation to kind of square off the building. And then on the upper floors, same idea. On one of the sides in the rear, you're required 15-foot setback, and on the other side, you're required 20 feet. We have 15 flush across. So on the upper floors, it is a 5-foot deviation, again, to keep the rear of the building kind of straight across the back, as you'll see. And the only other deviation we have is for the drive aisle width internal to the building. 22 feet under your land development ordinance is required, and we vary anywhere from 20 to 22 feet. So to be conservative for that pinch point, which again, you'll see we are at 20 feet. That's it in terms of deviations. Otherwise, we are fully compliant with your redevelopment plan. And I have for you this evening two witnesses I intend to call. Russell Bodner, our project architect, followed by Charles Height, our project planner, unless you have any questions of me.
Counsel, did we see the rendering on the portal?
We did not, and I was going to ask Russ to authenticate it so that we can have that entered into evidence.
Let's get him sworn first. And
Yes, I do. Yes, my name is Russell Bodner, B-O-D-N-A-R. I reside at 52 Long Hill Road in Long Valley, New Jersey, and I've appeared before this board many times, and my license is in good standing.
Thank you, Mr. Bodner. You're qualified.
All right, as you can see here, we have this project's 109 Beacon Avenue. It's in the Hopkins Central Avenue redevelopment zone. Like the lawyer stated, we have 14 units in this project. We are actually allowed 15 units, but we're going with 14 units because we actually are required for one-for-one parking in this job. So the parking is actually what's driving this project. So we needed the 14 parking space to make it work. We do have 7 bike parking spaces, and our units consist of, and I'll go through the plans in a little bit, but we have 2 3-bedrooms, 6 2-bedrooms, and 6 1-bedrooms. And they're pretty ample size. The 1-bedrooms are like 890 square feet. The 2-bedrooms range from 1158 and 1240. The 3-bedrooms are 1672 and 1820. Like I said here, the building is 5 stories, 61 feet is our overall height. There is no height requirement or height limitation in the zone. And as well as we are 95% lot coverage, and we're actually at 95% lot coverage on our plans. So we're compliant in terms of lot coverage. The only 2 variances we talked about earlier in terms of the bulk of the building are the 2 setbacks in the rear, and I'll show you those in a plan in a minute. And we'll take a look at the quick rendering right now. As you can see here, our building is
Russ,
pretty
before we do that, can we get it marked into evidence?
Yes, we can mark this as A1.
I think we're up to A2.
A2.
The notice package was A1.
Okay. Thank you. All right, as you can see here, the rendering itself is We want a simple building. It's black and white. There's white brick and there's some black brick in between these bays, and the rest of it's a black metal panel system and a black cornice. We do have a little terrace in the front here, but in the front of the terraces is actual panels. So I know Mr. Torres doesn't like when you can kick something off there. So the railing itself is on top of this little knee wall. So this way, nothing could be kicked into the adjacent property as we go by. All right, let's jump out of here and look at the plans in terms of the architectural plans.
And Russ, these plans you're about to present were previously submitted?
Yes, these were all submitted. So as
Go
you
right
can
ahead.
see here, this is our location. I can show you on this this little map down here, which I'm calling the block diagram. This is actually the redevelopment. This dark area here, and our building right next to it as well. You can see that little jagged line coming down and how our building is. But this was the entire redevelopment. This was sold and already built, and then we took over the remaining balance of this. That's what we are working with. So we come down to the actual floor plans. You can see we come in, you can see that back rear yard angled situation we have. Right now, we're supposed to have 5 feet here on this corner, but we're actually at 4 foot, like 8 inches here. So you're just clipping this little corner here, and we actually go to 7'2" on the other side. So that's one of our variance deviation. And the other one in terms of the parking is, right here we have 3 compact parking spaces. We have a 20-foot access aisle instead of a 22. But since it's actually compact spaces, they're only 16 deep anyhow, not the 18. I don't believe the 20 is going to be any kind of real problem with that as well. As you can see on the ground floor, we do have the 7 bike parking spaces as well. And the remaining balance of our ground floor is a little lobby with the elevators, the staircases, and our mechanical areas, as well as a small mechanical area in the basement as well, just to fit everything in. As you can see, parking really drove this job. I mean, I had to use every ounce of this project pretty much for parking on the ground floor to get the 14 parking spaces in. As we come back down further, we go to the upper floor plans, and you can see this is where we get to that rear yard setback problem again. This back here is 15 feet to the back corner, but when we clip it all the way back down to here, you're stuck with that little 5 feet extra. So we stayed with the 15 all the way across just to kind of give it a less of a severe angle, and we still have generous size apartments. These are 2 bedrooms in the back and 1 bedroom in the front. And like I said earlier, those the 2 bedrooms are 1158 and 1240. And the 1 bedrooms are very, very large at 890 square feet, which is very large for Jersey City. As well as if you go up to the next floor, you'll have the same exact layout, except for the differences. You don't have any terraces back there in the rear. And you don't have those little terraces in the front, obviously, as well. The reason the building's set back in the front of the building has a 5-foot setback above the first floor is that was a requirement in the actual planning. The zone itself, the redevelopment zone. If we go to the top floor, as you can see at floor 5, this is where we have the two 3 bedrooms. They're very large. Each of these 2 large 3 bedrooms, one's 20 square feet in the rear, and in the front it's 1672. We also do have an amenity space on this level. It's about 300 and maybe almost 400 square feet in terms of size overall for the entire building to use. And on the upper level, we have a 600 square foot roof deck on the roof and 864 square feet of green roofing. That's pretty much the gist of of the presentation. I don't believe we have anything else really to be added to this project this time.
Yeah, Russ, thank you. That's all I had for you.
Thank you, Mr. Bodnar. Do we have any questions for Mr. Bodnar?
Yeah, I have a question.
Dr. Desai?
Can you show me all the 14 parkings you have?
Yes, yeah. There's actually a stacking parking system, so you're probably confused if you look at them and just count them. So there is let's go back. So as you can see here, oops, flying past it, sorry, guys. You have the 3 parking spaces in the front, these 3 here. And then we have the handicap one as well, but then we have the stacker parkings right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're doubled up. That's really not 10 because it's a stacker that has a rotating system. So you only get 9 out of that, and then you get the other parking space. So you get the 14 between those and the 2 that are actually parallel on the side. And I gave a little turnaround spot back here so you could pull in to the, when you have the stacker system, there's actually like an empty spot always to pull in. So you pull into that spot and you can always back. If these people pulled up, they could pull into that space, and then they could back themselves out so they have an easier way to get in and out of their, out of the actual parallel parking spaces as well. So that was the second reason I used that type of.
The garage door has alarm system, right?
Yes, the garage door will have like an alarm system on the outside of the building, as well as like they have like a rotating, I always put those on all my projects. They have like a little rotating disc out there. So if a pedestrian is walking by, that when the door goes to get active, the rotating disc goes on as well in all my projects.
Any other questions? Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
so with
Thank you,
that,
Mr.
I'll
Brown.
bring up my final witness, Charles Hyde, our project planner.
Mr. Height, you are under oath still? You remember that?
Still under oath.
Perfect, and you're still qualified.
Yes, I am.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. So, Charles, you heard the 2 deviations related to that minor, the drive aisle width, where it pinches to 20 feet instead of 22, as well as for the rear yard setback, where on the ground floor, it's about a 0.33-foot deviation, and on the upper floors, on one of the sides, it's a 5-foot deviation. You heard Mr. Bodner's testimony, so if you could speak a little bit to the intent of the redevelopment plan and how these variances or deviations, I should say, outweigh any detriments that come with them.
Yeah, and I do agree. I think the board has a good handle as to the specifics where the deviations are occurring. I just did want to make reference that the 20-foot dimension for the drive aisle is associated with the compact spaces. The 21-foot 8 inches is associated with the standard spaces. That drive aisle, 21 feet 8 inches, is only 4 inches short of the compliant 22. It will still provide adequate circulation for the standard vehicle. We also covered the rear yard setbacks on the ground floor and the upper floor pretty well. So what I did want to offer to this board is that we are in the, oh my goodness.
Hopkins.
Thank you. Hopkins Central Redevelopment Plan. You may ask yourself why an application on Beacon Street is within that. And really it's a matter of the last 2 parcels of the overall redevelopment plan being presented for this board. The other parcels in this redevelopment plan were previously approved and are under construction. I believe the building is topped out and cladded. It does look nice as per those plans. I was involved with that application years ago. What we're dealing with now is a requirement in terms of rear yard for the redevelopment plan as a whole. And it really was associated to a different lot line. When we make this application, our lot and orientation is different from the whole redevelopment plan. So we kind of have an interior lot as opposed to a cap lot, which is the redevelopment plan. And because of that, we're applying these rear yard standards to what is the subject property's rear yard. And I do think from a light and air and massing standpoint, we've balanced what the proposed development is in applying that rear yard standard to the interior of the overall block. So I do think we're still meeting that intent of the rear yard setback requirement and providing light and air to the interior of the lot. I do believe these are bulk deviations that can be granted by this board where the benefits do outweigh the detriments. We are dealing with an odd angle, but I don't think that in and of itself is a hardship. I do think the proposed design in trying to deal with how far the building extends, where to draw the angle at the ground floor and upper floors is appropriate. Ultimately, I do think that there are special reasons that also advance the application, specifically establishment of appropriate population densities. That's purpose E of the municipal land use law. We're completing a redevelopment plan. We're a permitted building height, number of stories, but for the relief needed on the bulk, we're advocating for appropriate density in an appropriate location. We are also promoting purpose C, to provide for adequate light, air, and open space. I do think we're providing that light and air to the interior of the block. The adjacent existing structure to the east of the subject property is a zero lot line structure, so that's why we're able to marry our proposed on both sides. There's no real impact on the massing there. And then lastly, purpose I, to provide for a desirable visual environment. I think that this would be a nice addition and complement to the existing 5-story structure in the redevelopment plan, as well as to the overall neighborhood. With respect to the negative criteria, I do think that we've addressed a lot of the issues related to the relief needed in terms of the rear yard setbacks and the drive aisles. There will still be an adequate amount of circulation provided for vehicles to maneuver in the drive aisle. We also are providing an appropriate amount of setback interior to the block, so light and air can be provided to the rear yards, the adjacent rear yards. So I don't believe for those reasons it's a substantial impairment to the general welfare. I do also think that it would just provide a mix of housing within this neighborhood, more apartments rather than your other residential housing that's in the neighborhood. With respect to the zone plan and zoning ordinance, I'll just bring up some references from the redevelopment plan. The goals of the redevelopment plan are to encourage the assemblage of lots within the area in order to create a suitable site for a more comprehensive development. These 2 lots being assembled, yielding the 5-story structure, is an appropriate balance, and I do think it's an assemblage that's appropriate for a suitable multifamily development. Also, to provide on-site parking while at the same time recognizing the availability of mass transit in order to take advantage of the redevelopment plan area's proximity to local bus routes and the Journal Square Transportation Center. So again, the lot width of the 2 lots help us get the parking spaces, the 90-degree spaces, the stacker system, as well as the drive aisle. So that's an element of the property that we're able to work with and advance the objectives of the redevelopment plan. And lastly, with respect to the zone plan, the city's 2021 master plan does have specific references. There's nothing specifically against this. It's in a redevelopment plan. There was no changes to the redevelopment plan, but I would offer that the city's master plan recommendations are to continue efforts to enhance residential neighborhoods. I do believe this application is doing that with the redevelopment and completing the redevelopment plan, and also to ensure the available housing is balanced and meets the needs of all current and future residents. Again, the relief needed is minor in terms of square feet, and we are providing apartments, smaller types of units than the existing residential zoning around in the surrounding area. So that's my direct testimony. Be happy if there's any questions or if I missed anything.
Yeah, Charles, I think you hit everything. I don't have anything further for you.
Thank you, Mr. Height. Any questions for Mr. Height?
No.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And Chairman, I have no further witnesses.
Thank you, sir. Okay, do we have any questions from the board? Any other ones? Nope. Okay, I'll open it up to the public. Anyone here from the public wishes to speak on this application?
Chair, see no one from the public. I would like to close the public portion.
Second.
Public is closed. Who is this? Sophia?
It is Sophia.
Hi.
Sophia's on vacation, so I guess you got me. Sophia did upload her staff comments, staff report. There are conditions that were in that memo. I hate repeating the conditions that are always on the same. The only different one is that the green roof is installed prior to CO. And based on the comments from Dr. Desai, I would like to add the light warning system at that garage. That's a school right around the corner, and these 15 cars coming in and out of that spot. Maybe it's just a little bit of a warning system for the pedestrians.
I mean, it's just 14 cars, Tanya, but
14, 15, whatever. We get out of that
But yes,
compact space.
We take
pull
no
your brains
exception
out.
to the conditions.
Safety. Thank you. Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve case B 2025-0052 as presented to the board, together with staff recommendation and the additional condition of the warning system.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Roll call.
Acting Vice Chair Gongton.
Aye.
Commissioner Wick.
Aye.
Commissioner Stamato.
Aye.
Commissioner Lipsky.
Aye.
Commissioner Dr. Desai.
Aye.
Commissioner Patel.
Aye.
And Acting Chair, Dr. Gonzalez.
Aye.
Motion carries, all in favor with conditions.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, with everyone's indulgence, I'm going to go ahead and keep Mr. Wine up here. We love hearing him talk. He promises it's going to be a short one. This is case P 2024-0139, minor site plan, address 85 Liberty Avenue, 285 Liberty Ave. And this is number 18 on your agenda.
Sure.
Mr. Wine.
Good evening, Acting Chair, Commissioners. Benjamin Wine, for the record, on behalf of the applicant, 285 Liberty Avenue, JCNJ LLC. You will note that my outline for this application is significantly shorter, so I can confirm that it should hopefully be shorter as well this evening. This was technically not a notice case, but we did go ahead and notice just to be safe, so I will grab that package for Mr. Lampe.
Thank you, counsel.
Chairman, I do concur with Mr. Wine that this is not a notice case. However, since Mr. Wine went through both the expense and the trouble of preparing the notice, I'm in receipt of the affidavit of publication, proof of mailing with respect to 285 Liberty Avenue here in the city. We're going to mark it for purposes of the record as A1.
A1. Thank you, counsel.
Thank you. So the application before you this evening is for 285 Liberty Avenue. That's block 3304, lot 46, and we are located in the R1 zone as an interior lot along the west side of Liberty Avenue between Manhattan Avenue and Zabriskie Street. The lot in question currently is a vacant lot, and we're here this evening seeking minor site plan approval to construct a new 3-story, 4-family residential building that does entirely comply with your R1 requirements. I do also want to note for this application that we did have the opportunity to reach out to the Leonard Gordon Park Conservancy as well as the Western Slope Association with our application. We did that several months ago. We had not gotten any comments back from them, but we did make that effort to see if they had any concerns or wanted to speak to us. With me this evening, I have one witness for you, Avart Patel, who's our project architect. As I indicated, we do not have any relief needed, so I do not have any planning testimony for you this evening.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, I do. Avart Patel, Aavart Patel.
Mr. Patel, you've presented in front of us before.
Yes, I have.
Your license is
My
correct.
license is current.
You're qualified.
Thank you.
Thank you, Avart. So why don't you walk the board through the existing conditions as well as what we're proposing on the site this evening?
Sure. The site is located at 285 Liberty Avenue. The width of the lot is 39 and a half, 100 feet deep. The current condition of the site is a vacant lot, and there's a slope front to back about the site drops about 7.5 feet. Going to quickly move to the proposed site plan. As you can see, the building is situated with a 3.5 foot setback on both sides, and on the front side we have about 3.5 feet of setback. Going to go to the floor plan. The proposal is for a 3-story, 4-family structure. And we are proposing a 2-car garage, and that would be assigned to one of the 2 larger units of the building. Going to quickly go through the first floor plan. As you can see, the garage doors towards the front, and then there is a staircase centrally located, which leads to the 2nd story. Unit number 1 and unit number 2 is placed towards the back, and those are the larger units, and the garage would be associated with those units. So units have access through the garage, and at this level we have a master bedroom with a walk-in closet, and utilities located. There is a staircase leading downstairs and upstairs. And I'm going to quickly cover the downstairs. So the staircase comes down, and there's a walkout door, and that they would get the access to the backyard. Going to move to the 2nd floor. So those units, as you can see on the first floor plan, the staircase goes up here, and then on the second level, they will have access. The second floor is the one at the bottom. Will have access to the second floor, and if they will extend towards the front of the building. And the kitchen, living, dining is located at this level, plus a small study nook as part of Unit 1 and Unit 2. It's identical layout, split in half. And then the central staircase, which is placed between the two garage, would come up, and then we'll have access to the Unit 3 and 4. Again, they are duplex as well, and at this level, there's a master bedroom with some utilities, and then the staircase will lead to the third level, where the additional bedroom and living and kitchen is located. Identical layout, just split in half. Overall areas of these two units are about 1,580 square feet, and then the two larger units are about 1,700 and change. Going to quickly move to the roof plan. Unit 3 and 4 gets access to the roof as Unit 1 and 2 had access to the backyard, so that way everyone has access to the outdoor space. The green roof is located towards the front and the back of the building, creating a separation from the edge of the building. And this is the bulkhead plan showing the roof of that staircase. Quickly go to the front elevation. Most of the lots along Liberty are 25 by 100 lot, and we wanted to create a design which kind of gels with 25-foot lot. So we came up with this module where it looks like a twin, and overall elevation-wise, we are proposing a brick at the base of the facade, and then the background would be all hardy siding. And then the roof, the shed roof, and the window, that element comes out a bit, about a foot from the main facade, and that would be covered with a board and bat siding. The railing you see here, the glass goes all the way down to the deck of the balcony. It's not actually a balcony; it's a Juliet balcony, so there would be a railing directly in front of the door and the window, and as I said, the glass will go all the way down to the deck, so there's no issue of anything falling or rolling under the glass and hitting someone underneath. This is the rear elevation, pretty straightforward, horizontal siding with the windows and the two access door from Unit 1 and 2 at the grade level towards the back of the building. These are the side elevations. As you can see, the site gradually slopes down, and we are proposing few steps and long landings to gradually transition down towards the back. This is the other side elevation. The left side of the building. The facade would be horizontal siding, which would continue on both the long side as well as the back of the building. I guess that's about it. I'll answer any questions if you have.
Yeah, nothing else from me, Alvard.
Anyone have any questions for him?
No.
Thank you, Mr. Patel. I'll go ahead and open it up to the public. Anyone here from the public?
Chair, see no one from the public. I would like to close the public portion.
Second.
Public is closed. Junru.
Yeah, so again, Sophia uploaded her memo. The 6 conditions that are on here are very standard conditions, so I won't read them into the record, but they are there, and they are in the uploaded on the portal.
And we would agree to comply.
And staff recommends approval.
Thank you.
Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve case B2024-0139 as presented to the board.
I second it.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call.
Acting Vice Chair Gongadin.
Aye.
Commissioner Wick. Aye. Commissioner Stamato, Commissioner Lipsky,
Aye.
Commissioner Dr. Desai,
Aye.
Commissioner Patel, and Acting Chairman Dr. Gonzalez.
Aye.
Motion carries all in favor with conditions.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to go back to the normal record here. Sorry, Mr. Wine.
That's okay. In that case, would you mind if I put on the record an adjournment request with preservation of notice for that last one?
And that would be number
It's 19 and 20 on your agenda.
case P2024-0231, 978 Summit Ave, and case P2024-0233, 978 Summit Ave.
That's correct.
That would be to August 12th with preservation of
August
notice.
Let me just confirm real quick. August 12th is good for me.
Okay.
So I just want to confirm for the record that no further notice would be required.
That's correct.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
And before we jump into my case, I'll also carry the other two that I have on the agenda. That would be case, this is number 21, case P20223-0099, 133 Logan Avenue, and number 24 on the agenda, case P2025-0028, 10 Brinkerhoff Street.
And you are Mr. Stephen Joseph for the record.
Stephen Joseph for the applicant, for both of those applicants for the record.
And that is also to August 12th.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. And I think you're up anyway here, case P2024-0224, case number 13 on your agenda, and that is applicant Kearney Ave Development, address 222-236 Kearney Ave.
All right, Stephen Joseph for the applicant. This is a notice case. I do have our notices here, if we could enter these as evidence.
Chairman, I received the affidavit of publication, proof of service with respect to the application at 220, 222, 228, 230, and 236 Kearney Avenue here in the city. It does appear to be in order. We're going to mark it as A1 for purpose of the record.
Thank you, counsel. So 220 Kearney, I'll just call it 220 Kearney. This is 3 properties. They're industrial warehouse buildings. The applicant's proposing to demolish those buildings, consolidate the lots together, and then subdivide into 8 new lots. These are all oversized lots. They're 27 and change wide by 100 feet in depth, approximately 2,781 square feet. There's a total of 3 curb cuts associated with these 8 lots. So 6 of the lots are going to be sharing three curb cuts. So one curb cut for 2 lots, and then the 2 of the 8 lots will have no parking, no curb cuts at all. We do have a surveyor here tonight if you would like the surveyor to say a couple words, but there are no variances associated with this application. Happy to do whatever the board would like.
Have any questions, anyone? No. Straightforward? Okay. All right, so anyone from the public here to speak on this? Okay.
Chair, see no one from the public. I would like
Second.
to close the public.
Now I'll second.
Okay, Jean-Rou?
Staff issued a staff memo dated May 19th, 2025. I will just ask the applicants to agree to the conditions in the memo.
Yes, the applicant has reviewed and accepts all the conditions.
Staff recommend approval.
Thank you.
Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve case P2024-0224 as presented to the board with staff recommendation and conditions.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call.
Acting Vice Chair Gangadin.
Aye.
Commissioner Smato.
Aye.
Commissioner Patel.
Aye.
Commissioner Dr. Desai.
Aye.
Commissioner Week.
Aye.
Acting Chair, Commissioner Lipsky.
Aye.
Acting Chair Dr. Gonzalez.
Aye.
Motion carries all in favor.
Thank you. We'll save the tough cases for Chairman Langston on the 29th.
Thank you.
Oh, I have all the faith in the doc. Come on. Bring it on.
We should have, right? Okay. Next case, P2025-0011. Applicant Kessler Hudson County Rehab, preliminary and final major site plan with C variances, address at 135 Green Street.
Good evening, Commissioners. For the record, Tom Lean from Connell Foley. Before I start, I'm also going to request an adjournment with my notices carried to a date certain, and that's for item 16D on your agenda, which is 270 Newark Avenue, cases P2025-0031.
Mr. Lean, thank you. Cam?
That would be to August 12th as well.
Okay.
Thank you. The matter before you is a notice case. I did post these notices on Tyler, but I will provide an original to your council.
I got two on 270. Did we call both of them? Chairman, received the affidavit of publication proof of mailing with respect to 135 Green Street here in the city. Had the opportunity to review it. It does appear to be in order. We're going to mark it as A1 for purposes of the record.
Thank you, Counsel.
Thank you, Council. The application before you tonight relates to 135 Green Street. It is within the Exchange Place North redevelopment plan. Many of you might recognize the building either as Harborside A or the building, Harborside 4A, or the building that currently contains the brand new Whole Foods. We are seeking to utilize floors 9 and 10 in this existing building to put in a long-term care facility. The planning board and then subsequently the city council amended the redevelopment plan last year to make this a permitted use. So this was done by our client, the Kessler Institute, and they are looking to put in a facility on floors 9 and 10. So essentially, it is a 73-room facility where patients can, stay after they've had surgery or stay if they're recovering from some sort of long-term illness. And this provides an option in Jersey City so they don't have to take advantage of the many in New York. They can stay here in Jersey City and see their families. So this normally would just be a retrofit that wouldn't even come before the board, but we are making some changes to the building itself. And since they are on the exterior, we are required to bring these before the planning board, especially since it's in a redevelopment plan. So just very briefly, those changes are adding 2 new changes to the existing elevators to accommodate hospital-sized beds. We're putting in a freezer for food for the individuals there, and there are some changes to the loading docks and to the bicycle racks. On top of that, we are adding signage to the building to identify the new use within it, and that will require some deviations, considering that there's some existing signage. So I do have 3 witnesses, civil engineer and an architect, who will both be very quick. Again, this is just a retrofit of an existing building, and then Mr. Height will just quickly run through those deviations.
Thank you, Mr. Lee.
Hello.
Mr. Lean.
Gabby Gorinelli, who will be our engineer.
So the requested variances are for signage and then off-street parking, right? Not so much the interior. That's what I see on the agenda.
There's a loading variance. There actually is no parking variance. There's substantial parking in this building. But Ms. Gorinelli can go through it there. If it's listed as a parking variance, that's incorrect.
Okay.
I do. My name is Gabrielle Gornelli, Gabrielle, Gornelli.
Ms. Grinelli, you've presented in front of us before?
Yes.
Okay, and your license is active and current?
Yes.
You are qualified.
Thank you. Should I just get started?
Yeah.
So, like Mr. Lean said, this is the Whole Foods building. I think most people are familiar with it. It's a full block development. It has going clockwise Pearl Street, Green Street, Columbus, and Washington Street on the west. And these are the civil drawings that were uploaded on the portal. So this is the cover sheet. I'll flip to the first page, which is our civil site plan. Like Mr. Lean said, the facility is taking over space on the 9th and 10th floors, approximately 50,000 square feet on the 9th floor and 30,000 on the 10th, as well as some adjustments on the interior on the ground level for access. There are no new curb cuts being proposed. The existing loading space on the north side of the building is being used. That's where patients will enter the facility. 2 of the elevators will be modified so that you can enter those elevators from that loading space in the access corridor on the west. Currently, the elevators all go to the office lobby, which is located on the corner of the building. One of those elevators will remain for visitor access, who visitors will access from the lobby, which is on Green Street. The site improvements are very minimal on the project. There will be some minor sidewalk repair because the facility requires a new water line. And we are proposing some exterior bike racks, 3 bike racks, which will hold 6 bikes, which comply with the bike requirements for the building, as well as 2 interior bike racks, which the architect will speak to, as well as the signage, which is proposed on the south, east, and northern facade of the building. And there is the loading variance, which I believe 2 loading spaces are required, and I think we have 1. And, you know, that works with the operations of the facility. We do also have a GAR, green area ratio variance. The GAR is required on this site. The variance is requested because, you know, and Charles will get more into this in his planning testimony, but, you know, in looking at what can be done on this site, you know, it's an existing building. The building takes up 90% of the lot. There are some landscape improvements in the form of some street trees and some planting around the building. We took a look at that, and we did a calculation. The existing GAR on the site is a 0.04 when a 0.25 is required. We looked at the square footage that we're taking up in the building, and we're adding 4,100 square feet of green roof on the roof, which accounts for an additional 0.05 GAR for a total GAR on the site of 0.09. And we believe that 0.05 is appropriate because it equates to the percentage of floor area which we're taking in the building. Obviously, being an existing building, there's little things that can be done when the building takes up the majority of the lot. And there's multiple, you know, uses in the building. That is really all of the engineering testimony. My final sheet is just my utility plan showing that proposed water line that I mentioned earlier.
The only other question I have, Ms. Garnelli, is we're not changing the parking layout in the building, and it complies with the needs for this proposed use?
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Garnelli. Any questions for her?
Well, on the agenda, it says the required number of off-street loading. I've gone to that garage numerous times to go to Whole Foods, and it's plentiful. So that I don't see as a problem. So maybe it's just a typo. But the other thing is with the loading, it's 2 spaces on Pearl.
It is off street. The entrance is off Pearl, and it's within the building, and it's an existing curb cut.
And then it'll be designated as such.
It will be designated.
Okay, any other questions? No. Okay, thank you, Ms. Garnelli.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
My next witness is Miss Wendy Liu. Miss Liu is not actually a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey. I've brought Mr. Lewis, who is a licensed architect. He has reviewed the plans with her, and while she's going to walk through the plans, if there's any questions that Mr. Lewis can specifically answer, he is here.
Do you swear any testimony you give nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Ladies first, just spell your name, please.
My legal name is Winston Liu, Wenxin. Last name is Liu. Yeah.
And Jeffrey Lewis, Jeffrey-Lewis.
Mr. Lewis, while you're up there, you are a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey?
I am licensed, and my license is in good standing
And it is
and
I
active.
concur. Okay, yes.
You're qualified, thank you.
And then, Ms. Lou, because you've never testified before this board, can you just briefly give us your qualifications and whether you're a licensed architect in any other jurisdiction?
Oh, yeah. So, good evening, everyone. It's actually my first time to testify in front of the board. So, I'm not a licensed architect, but I do have a bachelor's and master's degree of architecture. I have been practicing professionally for 10 years.
Thank you, Ms. Liu.
I'm just having her as the person who prepared these plans. So, Ms. Lou, if you could very, very briefly run through the floor plan for the board.
Okay, so the currently on screen will show the demolition plan of the existing, as Gabby just mentioned. We are convert you see the existing two loading dock here. We are converting the back into an ambulance drop-off dedicated for the rehab hospital, and we are demolishing the three passenger elevators into to provide two new hospital-grade elevators. So for level 9 and level 10 existing space, on level 9 is office space, and we are doing a GET renovation. On level 10, existing space is a data center and associate support for the previous TD Bank. We are doing a GET renovation. So I'm going to show the department plan, which is represent the new layout. As you can see here, we are providing a new ambulance drop-off, which have an exterior flat light with a beacon warning system to warn the pedestrian when the ambulance go in and out. As you see in this, is a green highlight is two hospital-grade elevator compliance with FGI 2020. And they will be transporting patients from the back area into the hospital-grade elevator, while the other passenger elevator remain for public visitors from the main entrance on the Green Street. So this is like a related scope when we upgrade the elevators on the parking levels. So when I go to the next slide, this is the new layout for level 9. As you can see, highlight in blue is the perimeter with the inpatient rehab patient care unit. In the middle is all the support, including a kitchen for patient nutrition support, with a gym for patient rehab recovery, and some admin space with some nurse station and support like clean supplies and soiled utility room. Similar to the 9th floor, this is the 10th floor layout. You can see the building setback on the 10th floor. So we will provide an extensive green roof, which is approximately 4,300 green roof on this to suffice the landscape need. And also we're providing adjacent 33 patient care unit along the perimeter with central space, a central support space. On the roof, we will provide two seismic reserve water tank to suffice the fire protection for fire high-rise building, with utilizing the existing screen system. So as you can see the rendering here, I'm going to represent the proposed exterior signage here with the facility's name. This is the Green Street, and this is the main Christopher Columbus Drive. And you can see existing building have like a curtain wall at the top from level 8 to level 10, and below is the parking garage, and the Whole Foods is at the corner. So this is the proposed facade elevation. You can see this is within the required maximum limitation of the exterior signage. There is no change on the, this is the Green Street, and this is the proposed Kessler Institution exterior signage. And this is like the back area per street for the seismic reserve water tank with the screen wall. And this is like the Whole Food main entrance street with the water tank with the screen wall. Yeah.
I have no questions for this witness. Any questions for Ms. Liu? Any questions?
No.
You did great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'm just going to follow up with Charles Hyde to finish.
Counsel, do you want to have Mr. Lewis testify that he reviewed those
Yes,
plans?
absolutely.
I don't think he actually did that.
That's true.
Mr. Lewis, you had a chance to review these plans with Ms. Liu.
Yes, I reviewed the plans with her, and I actually went through her testimony with her as well.
Okay, and they meet the standards under the state of New Jersey?
Yes,
okay.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Counsel.
Mr. Height,
Good
we
evening.
remind you, you're still under oath.
Still under oath. Glad to still be here. I'll jump right into it. Again, happy to be here, Board. So we did have a pleasure of working on this, really what is an adaptive reuse of office space. So there's clearly a vacancy of office space in the city, and this is a really nice project to introduce what I would consider an inherently beneficial use. We're not seeking any inherently beneficial use deviation or variance tonight. The plan, Exchange Place North, was actually amended in 2024 to introduce hotels and long-term care facilities as permitted principal uses. So that was done. What we are is really cleaning up a little bit of the aesthetics with the signage, presenting some of the coordination with the loading that's occurring, and of course the green area ratio. So I want to mention that all of this variance relief is from the general land development ordinance, not from the specific redevelopment plan. We actually comply, the existing structure complies. There's no increases or changes that would create any sort of deviations from the redevelopment plan. So again, the reliefs being sought is from the general zoning ordinance. I'll tackle the signage first. There are a number of signage variances that we presented, so I think the project architect did just walk the board through the facades, which if I do this correctly, might be able to get back to, and I'm not doing it correctly. Okay, one more. Thank you. So this is a good image and location. I think there's a number of variances, again, from the general zoning ordinance. Number of signs for hotel uses are permitted to be one. Hospital use. This hospital use has 3 frontages. We're identifying 1 sign per frontage. 2 of the frontage will have the branding of Kessler Institute. The one that's shown on this sheet, A200, will match in terms of consistency and aesthetics of the Whole Foods sign that already exists. And there's one on Green Street. The 3rd sign is on Pearl, where it's the ambulance entrance identification signage. So again, that's an important entrance to the building. It helps any ambulances coming to the building know where that loading area is. That's number of signage. With respect to the type, we are proposing internally illuminated signs. This is where the light source is internal to the overall box of the sign. It does add to visibility. It does help for general use identification for the building. Coming down Columbus in the general area will help anyone trying to get to the facility. Again, it's long-term care, but any ambulances or guests of patients, it'll help with wayfinding. The only zone that permits internally illuminated is the HC and the CA districts, so they're kind of more intense signs. I don't think that that'll be an impairment to the general welfare given the location of the signs, and it will be coordinated with hours of operation. Lastly is another locational aspect to the sign. Hospital uses are not allowed to have signage located above the 2nd floor, so we are proposing signage above the 2nd floor. And again, it's really in terms of consistency with the existing Whole Foods sign on the facade today. It also does add for visibility for the use. The other signage relief needed in terms of area. The general zoning ordinance only permits hospitals and medical uses 50 square feet. What's being proposed to you are 2 signs with the Kessler Institute signage at 193 square feet. So let me just put it into a little bit of perspective for you. The overall facade on this structure is approximately 52,246 square feet. It's a large building in downtown. That equates to 0.4% of signage to facade. When you're taking it into just the first story for Christopher Columbus, it's 33%. And usually anywhere from 5 to 10% is a comfortable number of square footage of ground floor retail that you'd find in the city. So again, I do that math just to provide the scale for the board. It's a much bigger facade. A smaller facade, it would just look out of proportion. But again, we do need relief for both those sign areas. When you move into the other 2 aspects of the variance needed with respect to off-street loading, we have worked extensively with the owner of the building and the other uses to identify the parameters of the existing loading and what the hospital needs in terms of loading, not only for ambulances, in terms of the dock, the space, and also the coordination and location to the elevators, but also with any sort of delivery of materials and supplies for the facility. So that will all be accommodated in the existing loading. We do need relief for the proposed use because it's based on use, and we do exceed the 100,000 square foot of that threshold that requires the loading space, but we're working with the existing loading facilities at the building today, and ambulances will be scheduled in terms of their arrivals as well as deliveries. So there'll be very little unscheduled loading activities. So that should mitigate any sort of impact without having the necessary number of loading spaces. And lastly is the green area ratio. Again, we're in the downtown, as Ms. Gordonelli said. The downtown is in a floodplain along the Hudson River. When you do have a new construction development, it's the goal of every project to comply with the green area ratio. Here we have an interesting condition where the building occupies almost the whole block, but for the sidewalk. So we are trying to introduce elements to increase the permeability of the project. And I do agree with Ms. Gordonelli. We did approach this in a kind of a creative way, in a fairness way. It's not uncommon with a lot of the infrastructure improvements where you pay into your fair share of contribution to those improvements, and that's very similar here. We utilized the gross floor area of the overall structure and took a percentage of what this application is proposing. And that's the percentage of green area ratio that we're complying with. A deviation is required because we don't meet that 0.25, but I think it's an appropriate deviation to request to this board for the reasons we've given, and it's an improvement over existing conditions. So, with respect to special reasons, I started off the presentation that this is an inherently beneficial use. I do believe that we're permitted use, but I do believe by providing approving this application, you're introducing an appropriate use for the general welfare and safety of the neighborhood, of the downtown neighborhood. That's purpose A. I do believe that we're providing a desirable visual environment with the proposed signage that's being offered tonight, notwithstanding the relief. I do think we're working in terms of context with the scale and the existing signage on the building today. With respect to the negative criteria, really it's an existing building, so we're not talking about any sort of physical attributes of the existing structure, but we are creating for a well-planned development area, which will provide for opportunities for permanent employment, housing, commercial, and retail facilities within the area that is currently underutilized, contains substandard and obsolete structures, and has physical impediments, all which present sound development unless undertaken in a broad and comprehensive scale. That's one of the objectives of the redevelopment plan. And I think that we're transitioning underutilized office space to a very needed medical facility. There's more objectives I think we're meeting, but I think I can complete my testimony there. If you have any questions.
Yeah, just one question. You kept using the hospital standard for a lot of the things you were going through. This is a long-term care facility, which is different, but those standards apply to all medical uses, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I just wanted to clear
Yes.
that up. I have nothing else.
Do you have any questions for Mr. Height?
No.
I have one. I'm not sure if it's directed to you or Mr. Lewis, but how many loading docks are you going to have for the ambulance, do we say?
So I believe it's one, but I do want to confirm with Ms. Liu.
will be one ambulance drop-off.
What's the requirement?
So the requirement for the overall building would be 6. What's the increase for this application is 2 to 1. 2's required, 1's proposed
For this use?
for this use.
But Mr. Height, that relates to all medical uses, from hospital to a lower intensity like this, where it's not, people aren't coming here on an emergency basis, they're being dropped off in a timely manner, it's a scheduled one, right? So this is a lower intensity use than would might be required for a
Yeah,
hospital, for
the
example.
The ambulance that are arriving here are transferring patients under care. It's not the emergency treatment scenario of an emergency section of a full-fledged hospital. So I think the clarification of long-term care facility is important. The scheduled nature of the ambulance ambulance trips will help reduce any sort of queuing or whatnot that would occur in the street. So
Yeah, I being in the field, obviously, you know, I'm just worried if there's an emergency where people have to evacuate. I understand the scheduled incoming, you know, but especially being downtown, if there's a flood or something's going on and they have to emergently evacuate, which has happened actually in those buildings a lot. I live not too far from there. You know, that's going to be a little bit tougher to get the patients out of there. These patients are not very mobile, can't run. But I love the project. I think it's great. We need it there.
As a condition of approval, we could work with the Offices of Emergency Management to try and come up with a plan in case of that, if that would.
I would
help
love
the board.
that, yeah.
Okay, yeah, we would agree to that as a condition of approval.
Is everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
great.
Thank you, Mr. Height.
Thank you.
That's our presentation.
Thank you. Do we have anyone from the public wishing to speak on this? Any questions?
Chairman,
One from
seeing.
the public. I'd like to close the public portion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded.
Yeah, okay, so planning staff would firstly like to ask, what are your hours of operation for your signage? And if you are a 24/7 facility, we would ask that you keep the hours of operation that Whole Foods has for their illumination.
I think we can, we are a 24/7 facility. Obviously, there's people receiving care there all the time, but I think we can agree as a condition that the hours of the signage will be the same as the Whole Foods.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so, and then we will add that as a 10th condition, because we're adding the 9th condition to work with the Office of Emergency Management on your loading facilities. So 10th condition would be hours of operation to comply with what Whole Foods uses for signage.
And I will just put on the record that I did receive the June 4th memo prepared by planning and reviewed the conditions therein, and they're acceptable too.
Okay, thank you. That was my follow-up question. Okay, so planning staff agrees with the testimony provided by the professional planner, Charles Height. We believe that the variance can be granted without substantial detriment to the public good or any detriment to the zoned plan or zoning ordinance. We agree that this meets Objective D of the redevelopment plan, and it also meets many of the principles of the master plan. Specifically, the zoning should allow for a broader mix of healthcare, hospitality institutions within the city. So we agree this use is inherently beneficial, and we believe the variances can be granted here, and planning staff would recommend approval with the conditions put on record.
Thank you, Kim.
Chair would like to make a motion to approve case P2025-0011 as presented to the board together with the additional conditions and staff recommendation.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call.
Acting Vice Chair Gongadin.
Yeah, I just want to say it's a great presentation, very good use of the building for a long-term care facility in Jersey City, which is really needed, and good beneficial use. I think the variances requested is very minimal and not detrimental, so my vote is aye.
Commissioner Wick.
Very much needed. Aye.
Commissioner Stamato. Aye. Commissioner Lipsky.
Aye.
Commissioner Dr. Desai.
Aye.
Commissioner Patel. Aye. And Acting Chairman Dr. Gonzalez.
Yeah, this is really needed in our community, and kudos to you for bringing this up. I know we have a lot of patients who have to go far away when they have to go into rehab or long-term. So it's going to really benefit the community, the whole city. I appreciate it. Thank you. I vote aye.
Motion carries all in favor with conditions.
Thank you so much. 10 or 5 minutes.
Want me to do it?
So we're getting close to the witching hour. We're going to take a break, then we're going to come back, and we're going to hear 829 Bergen. I'm definitely not a mathematician, but by counting the bodies in the room, I'm thinking 829 is going to be the last item that's going to be heard by the board tonight. But obviously, everybody's more than welcome to stick around and see if we get past 829. We are not going to start a new application at 10 a.m., so.
10 p.m.
10 p.m.
Nor 10 a.m.
Or 10 a.m. So, we'll let everybody soak that in while we take the break, and we'll come back in about 10 minutes and see if anybody has a opinion on the matter.
We'll be back at 9:10. Thank you, guys. 9:10. 11. All right. Brilliant.
First order of business, case P2024-0172, 2025-0132, 125 Theodore Conrad Drive. Counsel?
Thank you, Mr. Lampe, Acting Chair, Commissioners. Very quickly, we're going to ask for carry both of those applications, 2024-0172, it's actually 2024-0132. I know the agenda says 2025. Carry those with preservation of notice to the next available meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Cam, that's August 12th.
Still August 12th, yep.
Terrific.
So anybody here on either one of those cases, it's 125 Theodore Conrad Drive. That matter will not be heard this evening. It will be heard on August 12th. There will be no further notice, so if you got notice of that meeting, this is your notice. August 12th, we start at 5:30, we go till 10 o'clock. Thank you.
Oh, I have them right here.
Do we have any other matters that would like to carry before we move on to the next item of business?
No one else?
Okay, so case P2025-0071, it is 829 Bergen Avenue. Mr. Harrington. Mr. Harrington, for the record, it is 9:15. I am going to stop this application regardless of where we are at 9:45 because I have a legal argument on the next matter that needs to happen this evening so that the parties can proceed. So with that, counsel.
Understood. Thank you. Again, for the record, Charles Harrington of Connell Foley on behalf of the applicant. This is a notice case, so I'd ask that they be reviewed and marked into the record.
Thank you, Mr. Harrington. Chairman, receipt of the affidavit of publication proof of mailing with respect to the property at 829 Bergen Ave here in the city. I've had the opportunity to review it. It does appear to be in order. We're going to mark it as A1 for purposes of the record.
Thank you, counsel.
Okay, thank you.
Harrington.
So, the property and application before you may seem familiar to some of the commissioners because we had an application before this board about a year ago. It was approved in May of 2024. And at that time, it was owned by a prior owner. He subsequently sold the property. The zoning that was at issue at that time that regulated the property was the CBD, Central Business District zoning. And that's important because of, you'll see the variances we're requesting and the change in the application because the regulating zoning now is the NC3, the Neighborhood Commercial 3. And what's important here is that parking is no longer required for this project and this property because it's less than 10,000 square feet, the lot area. So that's the big change that we're proposing tonight is we have a project that, and it is a brand new application. It's not an amendment because it is different zoning that's before you. We have a project that is the same size, same bulk, 11 stories, 77 residential units. The project that was approved last year had 20 parking spaces that went down into the cellar, and there were stackers, and really not very efficient, but nevertheless, that is being eliminated. We're not providing any parking because the zoning doesn't require it. And the difference here is that the prior project had 5% affordable units. The project being proposed tonight has 10%. So we'll have 8 affordable units. That is a result of a rear yard variance that is being requested as part of the application. The rear yard criteria changed a little bit, so same building, but we are requesting a variance for the rear yard. There are also the other variances that we requested as part of the last application was the lot width and the lot area. As explained at the hearing last year, those are classic hardship cases. We can't expand the building. We are surrounded by the cemetery behind us. If you know the 829 Bergen Avenue, it's located across the street from the Hudson County building on Bergen Avenue. And directly to the north is the Coptic Church, which that's why there's a lot of people here with the community. So we can't expand that way. And then directly to the south is, I believe it's called the Madrid residential building. It's an older building. So we are what we are. It's about a 6,900 square foot lot that was historically used by Raymond Glass as one of their sites for their property. They sold it, and this is now I guess the third seller or third buyer since then. So that's the primary change here is the parking. We had parking, now there's no parking. Parking is not required under the zoning ordinance. We have had a community meeting. My client has been in contact with members of the Coptic Church. We are working on construction issues, access issues to make sure that it's a safe condition when those are done. We fully appreciate that it's a very active site, the Coptic Church, and we will be doing everything according to code. And our architect has been meeting with their representatives. We do not have an agreement yet in place, but I don't think I need to remind the board that's not an issue before this board, a construction issue. That is something that is being worked upon, but it's not something before this board. Because I say that because I anticipate a lot of concerns, and we appreciate all the concerns, but I anticipate a lot of comments in a public comment about that. So with that said, I will start in our time frame here. like to bring up our civil engineer to walk you through the site.
I do. My name is Michael Nona, spelled N-O-N-A. I'm a civil engineer with Stonefield Engineering and Design. I'm a licensed professional engineer in the state of New Jersey. My license is current and good standing. I graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree, Bachelor of Engineering degree in civil engineering from Wayne State University. I've been a practicing engineer for the last 8 years or so, and I've testified in front of multiple boards, including this one.
You're qualified.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Nona, before you present, we are using a slide deck, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and if you could identify that slide deck, do you know the particulars of it, or should we have Mr. O'Mara identify it for the record? How many slides? 31? 3-1. Yes. Okay. 3-1. Mr.
So is this witness going to use a portion of the slide deck? Is that what?
Correct. I'm going to use about 3 slides in this deck.
All right, so A2 is the 829 Bergen Ave planning presentation. It's dated, today's date, July 15th, 2025, and it's 31 slides. And council, obviously, that'll be provided after the hearing.
Correct.
A2, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll try to keep this kind of short. Mr. Harrington kind of gave a brief layout of the site, but as he mentioned, the project site is located at 829 Bergen. We are fronting Bergen Avenue. To the north of us is the Coptic Church. To the south is a multifamily residential building. And to the west is the Spear Cemetery. The existing lot's about 6,900 square feet. We are proposing a 6,051 square foot residential mixed-use building with first floor residential and 11 stories. The project is not proposing any parking on site. In the existing condition, the site is 100% impervious. In the proposed, we are reducing that to 4,641 square feet when you include the green roof on the top. As part of this application, we're proposing streetscape improvements, new sidewalks, new curbs. We're closing off a existing curb cut for the existing loading dock, and we're proposing to mill and overlay the portion of Bergen Avenue, which is in front of the site. The project is also proposing 39 internal bicycle spaces, which is the requirement for the NC3 zone. We're also proposing to install a bike rack on the outside for visitors or customers of the retail space. For utilities, all utilities are being pulled from Bergen Avenue. There are existing storm, sanitary, and water lines in the street, and we have been working with PSE&G to coordinate electric. As part of the utilities, there is a proposed vault access within the right-of-way. We are working with both the municipality as well as the utility provider to coordinate that, and that is shown on all the plans. Moving on to the site plan itself. Like Mr. Harrington said, the building has not significantly changed as far as the footprint goes from the previous application. You can see this is from the previously approved site plan on top, which was submitted in December of 2023, and then the currently proposed plan, which was submitted in May of this year. The overall footprint has not changed significantly. The largest difference is the removal of the driveway, the ramp to the basement, and the parking on site. As far as stormwater goes, the site is compliant with the Jersey City stormwater ordinance as a minor development. We are reducing the storm in all events by approximately 30%. We're providing 2,200 square feet of green roof on the roof of the building, and we are reducing motor vehicle surface completely. For the landscaping, we are proposing one street tree along the frontage as well as some raised planter beds. And we think that this is a very positive rehabilitation of the site from its existing condition to something that will be a nice addition to the community. I'd also like to add that I have reviewed all of the staff reports, the engineering letters, as well as the planning review letter, and we take no exception to any of the comments that were made as far as the engineering and planning comments. As far as my direct testimony, I think that mostly sums it up, and I'm happy to answer any questions from the board.
Anyone have any questions? No. Thank you, Mr. Hill.
Okay, thank you. Then at this time, I'm going to move forward with our architect, Mr. Amara.
I do. Sure. Ahmed Amara, last name Emara. You got it.
Mr. Amara, you presented to our board before,
I have.
and your license is current.
Current and good standing, yes.
You're qualified.
Thank you. As Mike mentioned. Did I? Okay. This is almost identical to the project that was approved 2 years ago or a year ago. This is the project that's being proposed now. The massing in the front has remained largely the same. The materiality and the windows have changed slightly just to comply with the new zoning. The new zoning does change the setback in the front, so we are matching that as well. But the variance is being asked for the rear setback. This is the site, just to give you a visual of 3D of where we're at across the street, and then the two buildings on either side. And this is the site as it's conditioned today. We are in the neighborhood commercial 3, as mentioned. This is a change of zoning from the CBD to the NC3, which now does not require parking and changes the setback requirements in the front as well as the rear of the building. The variances are listed on the screen right now. The lot area and the lot width, as Chuck has mentioned, those are existing non-conforming conditions that we can't really change. The minimum rear yard setback is listed as a variance, as well as the roof coverage, which I'm sure the planner is going to cover, and I'm just going to mention that a huge part of this is a mechanical area on the roof to eliminate the use, or to basically, we don't want to use P-tax in the building. We just don't think it's a good idea on the facade or the or for efficiency of the building, and this is, we're hoping to have a very efficient strong building here. So to get a good VRF system, we need condensing units, and those are going to be on the roof. The building is 77 units. This is the mix, and as Chuck mentioned, 10% now is part of the rear yard variance. So 8 affordable units will be in the building. This is something that we already worked with the Affordable Housing Authority on, and the mix on the screen of the affordable units is what's approved. I'm going to go quickly through the plans. This is, on top is always going to be what's previously approved. The bottom of the screen is going to be what's proposed. This is the cellar that was previously approved with the parking in the back, which was a deeper pit and the parking ramp. And then below you'll see that the utilities remained largely the same. We've actually worked with PSE&G this time early on all the utilities and bringing in service, because this is a huge part of building anything on Bergen Ave. And the area in the front, that's the vault that's reviewed, and we're in the process of getting that basically signed off by PSE&G. We wanted to come here and present the project that we can actually build. We don't want to get something approved and then go back and rework it again. And the ramp is now replaced with a gym, and in the back we have storage for the building. The first floor was largely eaten up again by the ramp for the parking, and then that area in the back where there's an X, that was the double height for the pit for the parking. Now we have a business center in the back for the tenants of the building, for a co-working space basically, and then in the front we have the lobby and most of the functions of the building, like the command center and leasing office and such. And to the right, that is the retail space that's being proposed. I'm going to try to just move swiftly through the plans, but the plans, again, have largely remained the same. The exterior, you can see that it's slightly different now to basically abide by the setback in the front. We do have some balconies still on the front of the building. You'll see the similarities between the balconies. We have window wells on either end now, which it didn't have in the beginning for windows. This is the roof that Michael was just referring to. The two gray areas are mechanical spaces, and that's the large green roof that he mentioned that would be reducing the stormwater runoff off the site. This is the proposed rendering for the green roof, as well as the recreational space with the pergola here, and then the aluminum louvers for the mechanical spaces. There's also a wooden fence there, this is the mechanical space that's on the same level as the roof. That's just another view for the pergola and the space that's designed under it. The elevations, I'm gonna try to be brief. The elevations, the massing has changed slightly, like I mentioned, but we stay within basically the width of the site. It's 40 feet, that's what you can build. And then the materials. This is the rear of the building. This is the one side facing north, and this is what's being proposed now. This is the south side, and this is the proposed for the south side. And this is the entrance to the building, and the first floor is right above it. On the left side where it says 829, that's the entrance of the building. On the right side where it says sign, that would be the space for the retail. The materials of the building, we're proposing the use of cement board on the front of the building in beige, and then the gray cement board as well, and copper metal panels, copper colored metal panels, not actual copper on the building. Although I would love it, but it's too expensive. Terracotta stucco on the sides, as well as the beige, mimicking the color, and then doing that pattern on the side of the facade. That is the facade that you see coming down Bergen Ave, because the building does angle out. And this is a night view of the building, and I'm happy to take any questions if anybody has them.
Anyone have any questions?
Yes. How many feet exist between the north side of the building and your project?
The north side of the north property line in the building?
Yeah.
0. We're
So
building
it'll
up to the
be-
property line.
Right. And so how far is that from the adjacent property?
About 5 feet.
So will not touch the adjacent property?
It will not touch the adjacent property,
And then on the
correct?
south?
I'm sorry?
On the south?
On the south, both properties are basically touching. Usually you leave a seismic gap of 1 inch. That's what would be left.
On the south, but on the north side of the building, there's a 5-foot.
On the north side of the
Back.
building, the Coptic church building is not on the property line. They have a 5-foot alleyway. So their building is removed further north. We're building property line to property line, yeah.
On both sides?
On both sides, correct.
Did you speak to the changes you made?
If no other questions, I'd like to bring something else that Chuck just reminded me of.
Sir, we're not in public yet, okay? We'll call you up. All right.
I doubt that.
In process of working with our neighbors, we did make a few changes to the project. So I'm just going to go back to the first floor. Right here, there used to be a window well that was open up to the second floor, similar to this here. So this is a window well here that
Side of the
allows.
building, sir.
What was that?
Which side of the building are you referencing?
Oh, here. I'm talking about the proposed floor plan that's on the lower side of the screen to the left here, the north side of the building. The north side, right there, where my cursor
Okay.
is. There used to be a window well right here, matching this window well on the right side here, which had
How
windows
far would
in
you
it.
say that is from the rear property line?
About 24 feet.
And that window well is the one you were describing? Is
And
that
this window well here, that's 20, that was there, 24 feet from the rear property line, was there. It was submitted like that, and then as part of the discussions with our neighbors to the north, the Coptic Church, that was a request, and to bring up a wall about 12 feet tall, to avoid basically, they have youth activities in the back, basketball and stuff like that. They didn't want the ball to come in and break one of the windows. So we considered this, and we went back and actually just eliminated it just to make it safe and comfortable for everyone. So we got rid of that completely. That's one of the discussions that we've had. Another discussion we've had was the concern, which we totally understand, of the fire escape that's existing onto the side of the Coptic Church building right now. The church's building has this as a means of egress. The concern that was voiced basically was your window may be too close to it, so we want to avoid anything happening between that. And we've measured it. We worked on the window, and the window is over 5 feet from that stair, so we feel comfortable with that moving forward as is. We also have the request for the retail space, right?
Yes.
So one of the requests that we've heard, and I believe Chuck can speak to that, is they would like a restriction on the uses that could happen in there, so they don't want basically like an adult store type or a liquor store or a CBD store to take place into this retail space. And I believe, speaking with ownership and with Chuck, this is something that we can definitely support and understand as a condition of approval for the project.
Mr. Harrington, what does that mean from a legal standpoint?
Well, that, what it would mean for this building, in part of this approval, in the event it was approved, we would agree that those uses would not be permitted in this retail space, and there would be a deed restriction to acknowledge that.
So that would be a deed restriction.
Yes, that would be the way to address it.
Chair.
Yes, please, go ahead.
So in rereading the transcript from the last May, the public testimony had three principal complaints or concerns. One was the building height, one was traffic/parking, and then a third one was the construction and the effect on the church. What guarantees can you speak to in terms of allaying any of those fears for this proposed project, for the third one, the building of the building, not to compromise the integrity of the church?
You want me to answer? Yes. Okay. All right. So three concerns. I heard them loud and clear, and we've had discussions. So
the only one I'm saying to now, because
number three.
The
yes.
third one is
yes.
because you're an architect, you're not a traffic engineer.
I'm not going to traffic engineer. I was going to say our traffic engineer is going to comment on that. The first
height
one
is
you
the
already
height. It was
answered.
approved and it's not
Correct.
changing, right?
Thank you.
But if a new person comes in, there's still going to be the overlying fear
Yes.
that if you're going to pile drive,
Yeah.
what's that going to do to that sacred
Absolutely.
space?
And even if you're not pile driving, if you're just digging foundations and pouring a mat foundation, I totally understand, and this is a condition that we have to work on. What guarantees can I give? I can basically say that this project will be done in accordance with the International Building Code of New Jersey. We will get the proper approvals from the agency permitted for this, which is the building department in Jersey City. They'll be reviewing this. The process, just to not to take too long, but the process is to get supportive excavation permits first. We would finish the supportive excavation permit, get it inspected, get it approved, and then you can pull foundation permits. So this process is basically done to exactly get what you want. They want to make sure that you supported the excavation, that the building next door is properly protected. Part of this is also working with our neighbor on an access agreement and on protecting their building during construction. We have to follow the code. We have drawings done by our engineer for the protection of adjoining property. That is something that's already been submitted to the building department, that's been reviewed by the building department because we are preparing for demolition. So that's something that we would like to get on the record. Absolutely anything done on site has to abide by the code. That's what I put my license on.
And for the record, you have been meeting with their professionals as well to discuss these issues, right?
Absolutely. We've been meeting with the professionals. They're more than competent, more than knowledgeable about all of this, and they've been helping us and guiding us, honestly, through the process as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Council?
Oddly enough, Mr. Harrington, this is the perfect place to stop.
That's what I expected. It's a good break for the continuity.
So, Mr. Black,
Be August 12th, carried with preservation of notice and testimony taken.
Is it possible to do the 29th so that we could, under old business?
No, 29th.
of August?
No.
No.
Of July.
No,
No.
it's not. It's not.
Okay, well, I guess we'll take what we can get. And it will be under old business?
Yeah, with testimony taken.
I don't want to give anybody the false sense that being under old business means you're first, because what we're about to talk about is listed under old business.
Understood.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Harrington. Everybody here this evening on the 829 application. It is being carried to the August 12th meeting. If you didn't hear me earlier, we start at 5:30. We go until 10 o'clock. I am going to ask one thing. When you walk out that glass door, keep walking and do not start talking to each other until you get to the security desk. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. We're going to call case P2024-0229 and case P2024-0182.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Jim McCann from the law firm of Connell Foley. I'm appearing on
Jim?
I'm appearing on both of those cases that council just called on behalf of the applicant.
Mr. Salgian, can you tell those people to move down the hall? Thank you.
Please.
He's our new sergeant of arms.
Thank you, Mr. McCann. Counsel?
Good evening, everyone. Tana Buka from Becker, New York, PC, on behalf of Objector Counsel, on behalf of Port Liberté Homeowners Association, Inc. And we do have a jurisdictional objection that I'd like to be heard on before the planning board hears any argument with respect to this application. Okay. So as I mentioned, we're counsel to Port Liberté Homeowners Association. The association and the individuals who reside in Port Liberté are within 200 feet of the applicant's property, but did not receive notice of the scheduling of tonight's hearing. The only notice received was a notice regarding the request for amendments to the redevelopment plan, but not for the underlying preliminary and final site plan approval. In addition, you may recall that our office separately requested notice of the scheduling of any hearing on August 21st, 2024. We provided you a copy of that earlier today. And we have also followed up several times as to whether the matter had been scheduled and requesting notice, such as when the application was scheduled. And each time we were advised that it had not yet been scheduled, but that notice would be provided. As set forth herein, as I'm stating to you, notice was not provided to our client or to our office that the site plan application, that's P2024-0182, was being heard this evening. In searching through the online portal, the only notice that we've been able to locate, which was not provided to our firm, and does not have any record online of having been sent to those within 200 feet of the property, starts by providing notice by identifying the matter by PB case number 0229, which pertains specifically to the master plan amendment application. Indeed, mention of the separate site plan application, which is P2024-0182, is casual and without even identifying the site plan application number. In fact, the notice actually states that the site plan approval is, quote, subject of a separate application to the Jersey City Planning Board. This is what's in the notice, leading any rational reader to believe that it was not subject to the hearing being noticed tonight. The matter is further confused by not including any mention in the notice of the temporary sales office element of the site plan, which was specifically broken out for some reason, yet it was discussed on May 27, 2025, which was the prior hearing, and was the reason given on the meeting agent for the May 27, 2025. If you look at the agenda, you'll see that. To be clear, I'm sorry.
On the meeting agent, counsel?
Excuse me?
Did you say on the meeting agent?
The meeting agenda. I'm sorry, the meeting agenda. Okay. Put simply, the notice was purportedly provided was significantly flawed in that it did not provide actual notice that the site plan application, i.e. P2024-0182, was the subject of the intended notice. As a result, my client, Portlib HOA, was not aware that the application for the site plan approval was moving forward, nor were the residents who are here this evening aware of that. While the Port Liberté HOA has no objection to P2024-0229, which only seeks an amendment to the redevelopment plan, it does have legitimate objections to P2024-0182 and is entitled to an opportunity to be heard on legally sufficient notice. We provided you earlier with a copy of an excerpt from the May 27th hearing notice highlighting the fact that the site plan application was subject to a separate application in the Jersey City Planning Board and therefore subject to separate notice requirements that was to be forthcoming but were never provided. We sent you an excerpt of that, but I'm just going to read from it. It specifically says that it is a separate application to the Jersey City Planning Board. There's no mention in the notice being provided for P2024-0182 of the contents of that separate application. Thus, the planning board doesn't have jurisdiction to hear the application tonight on P2024-0182. Notably, the association intends to object to the site plan application being heard under P2024-0182, including through cross-examination of witnesses and the presentation of its own expert witnesses. However, legally sufficient notice providing the association with an opportunity to be heard has not been provided. Unfortunately, we were not able to have our expert available this evening on such short notice. But again, we have this jurisdictional objection because proper notice was not even provided. We therefore respectfully submit that the applicant should be required to provide sufficient notice of P2024-0182 and that the planning board adjourns that portion of the hearing because legally sufficient notice has not been provided. Again, the association has no objection to the planning board proceeding on application number P2024-0229 alone, but we do have an objection to the other application, which we did not receive notice of. One of the objections intended to be raised pertains to the expiration of the Caven Point redevelopment plan, which was adopted for a 40-year term only, that has since expired. As a result, the hearing before the Planning Board on application number P2024-0182 before an extension of the expired plan or adoption of some other redevelopment plan by the City of Jersey City is premature. As such, would be futile and a waste of the precious municipal resources. As stated in section Roman numeral 6I of the redevelopment plan, the provisions of this plan specifying the redevelopment of the project area and the requirements and restrictions with respect thereto shall be in effect for a period of 40 years from the date of approval of this plan by the City Council of the City of Jersey City. The redevelopment plan was adopted on November 7th, 1984, and amended several times thereafter, but in each instance, none of those amendments extended the November 7th, 2024 expiration date. Stated differently, as currently constituted, the Planning Board has no ability to approve the application and therefore should refrain from hearing it until such time as the redevelopment plan is extended or another redevelopment plan approved by the City of Jersey City. Notwithstanding, not having provided the legally sufficient notice that is required for application number P2024-0182, the Planning Board should refrain from hearing the application further until the time as proper notice is supplied. I just want to read two cases into the record. The purpose of notice on Planning Board applications is to, quote, ensure that members of the general public who may be affected by the nature and character of the proposed development are fairly apprised thereof, so that they may make an informed determination as to whether they should participate in the hearing. And that's from Perlmart of Lacey versus Lacey Township, citation number 295 NJ Super 234. And that's from the Appellate Division in 1996. A critical element of any public notice is, quote, an accurate description of what the property will be used for under the application. And that's from Piero versus Borough of Lake Apatcong. And that citation is 2006 Westlaw 3371544. And that's from the Appellate Division in November of 2026. Finally, in Stafford versus Stafford, 229 NJ Super 188 from the Appellate Division in 1997, if notice is somehow defective, any action taken by the board in such case is a nullity because jurisdiction has not been vested. And so with that, I would just ask that the Planning Board respectfully adjourn this matter until proper notice is provided.
Thank you, Counsel. Mr. McCann, just before you respond, there were things that you referenced as having been supplied. I have not received anything. I don't know what was submitted to the board, but it did not get to me. If it was sent electronically this afternoon at some point in time, quite frankly, we started 5:30. I was traveling on my way here. I have not looked at my emails since probably about before I got in the car, so I'm going to say about 2 o'clock this afternoon. So if it was transmitted after 2 o'clock this afternoon, I have not seen it. I don't know the other things that you're referencing. we were here on May 27th, and you guys are welcome to stand, but you can sit down. I don't know if you prefer to stand, but feel free. So we were here in May, and my recollection is that I marked 2 separate notices. Now, my recollection was one had to do with the master plan amendment of the Cabin Point redevelopment plan, and the other one had to do with the site plan. And at the time that I marked those notices, I read the notices, and I found them to be in order of what was happening. I do not have them with me. The reason I don't have them with me is because the original notices go to staff, and they are filed in the staff office. So I am sure they are in the staff office, but of course, by the time we start, the administrative assistant within the staff office is gone, and I don't know where she puts them in her system, but I can definitely look into those. But it doesn't sound like you've seen the notice for the site plan and have any ability to speak to the content of the notice. It sounds like you're saying that Port Liberty Homeowners Association did not receive certified mail notice and that it was entitled to certified mail notice. Is that fair?
I'm also, in addition to that, I'm also saying that the notice that was provided, the actual notice that is part of the agenda, that is the part of the public record that's posted online, in and of itself is defective.
For the site plan application?
For P2024-0229.
So that's not the site plan application. That is the master plan amendment.
And P2024-0182. It's referenced.
But I thought you said you haven't seen that notice. You couldn't find that notice.
Right. But the notice that was provided in and of itself is defective.
So I believe, and again, Mr. McCann can probably clear this up, but for purposes of the record, I believe there were 2 notices. One for the master plan of the Cabin Point redevelopment plan amendment, and one for the site plan application. I thought you had said that you had only seen the notice for the master plan amendment within the Cabin Point redevelopment plan.
In searching through
229,
right.
not 182.
Right. In searching through the online portal, the only notice that we've been able to locate, which wasn't provided to us, doesn't have any record online of having been sent to those within 200 feet, and starts with providing notice by identifying the matter as 0229.
So now, the Port Liberty Homeowners Association is entitled to personal notice? How do we know this?
Port Liberty is within Port Liberty Homeowners Association is within 200 feet of the subject property.
And is on the map and on the list from the tax assessor as being within 200 feet of the subject property?
I'm not sure if it's on the tax assessor's map, but again, this is association property. So it would not necessarily be on the tax assessor's map because if we're not being taxed on that property.
Well, but okay.
And we've specifically requested notice.
I don't know what that means.
About a year ago.
I don't know what that means. Specifically requested notice. I don't, from a legal standpoint, I don't know what that means. Mr. McCann, please.
So 2 notices were procured and submitted in this case. One notice for case 229, which is a notice for the master plan amendment for the Cave-in Point master plan. That notice does in fact reference a separate site plan application. It doesn't give the number, but it does say that there's a separate site plan application. Now, a second notice was prepared and filed for case 182, which is the site plan application. And it makes a full disclosure of all the relief that is being requested pursuant to the site plan. It's an entirely separate notice. I do not know why. I do know why the Homeowners Association did not receive this notice, because they are not on the tax records as an owner of the property. We served everybody, the tax assessor, as is the way this plan works, the MLU works. The tax assessor gave us a certified list of property owners within 200 feet of the property. We took that list and we notified every entity that's within 200 feet, and we served an affidavit of service on this board on May 27th as part of Exhibit A1, specifically for the site plan application, which is 182. And we filed a separate notice for the amendment to the master plan, which is 229. Council, I can show you, because I have it with me, an exact copy of A1 for case 182. And I can show you the tax assessor's certified list that does not include the Port Liberté Homeowners Association. It does include the Port Liberté Condominium Number 3 Association in 2 separate places for 2 separate lots that are apparently within 200 feet of the property that we're seeking relief on.
So how come, if you know, why isn't the Port, I'm going to ask either one of you, because
I can answer that question.
Why is Port Liberté Homeowners Association not on the list
Because,
if they're within 200 feet?
Because, well, I don't know that they're within 200 feet, but what I do know is that if you're not a property owner who's listed in the tax records
Right.
as an owner of a particular lot, you are
Right.
not entitled to notice under the municipal land use law. It's black letter law.
But who is Port Liberté Homeowners Association?
I imagine it's an
Council?
umbrella association, but they do not own any real estate, because if they did, they'd be on this list, and they're not on this list.
It's a homeowners association, the purpose of which is to maintain the property that we're talking
We're
about.
talking
that
very
is-
generally, though, right? Council just said that there are multiple associations on that list as having a property owner's interest. Port Liberté Homeowners Association does not own any property?
That's inaccurate. Port Liberté
Asking.
is I don't know why they're not listed in the tax records.
Do they own any property?
In that area, yes, Port Liberté is responsible for the property within 200 feet of the subject property. So, and in addition to that, with that said, we have a host of people here from Port Liberté 3 who did not get notice.
Port Liberté 3.
Absolutely.
Are they a member of Port Liberté Homeowners
Right.
Association?
Port Liberté 3
So
members are also members of the Homeowners Association.
All right, so let's just all back up because it's late. Port Liberté Homeowners Association, one of the members is the Port Liberté 3.
The owners within Port Liberté 3 are also members of Port Liberté Homeowners Association.
Okay. Who are the other members of Port Liberté Homeowners Association?
The owners within Port Liberté 2 condominium and the owners within Port Liberté 1 condominium.
So it is an umbrella association.
It's a homeowners association, but yes,
Okay.
in essence.
But that answers the question, why they didn't get the notice, but the other condominiums got the notice.
But that's,
We can disagree
yeah.
as to what the law is.
well, what I am saying to you is there are members of Port Liberté 3 that are here this evening
Right.
that share in this objection. I can't speak for them because I don't represent
understand.
them, but they did not get notice as well. And they are complaining about a defect in the notice.
Mr. McCann is saying that he mailed the notice to that condo association. That's what he's saying. Either way, that's with respect to the issue of who's entitled to notice. With respect to how we move forward, I understand your objection. Do you have the ability or do you not have the ability to provide any substantive objection to the notice for 182? I suspect the answer is no, because you have never seen that notice.
I've seen whatever is on the online portal.
Well, but you told me that the only notice you saw was with respect to case 229.
And presumably that's the notice he's talking about for case number.
Sir,
Someone's car is parked by the dumpster, the garbage truck can't get to it. Is there anybody in here?
That might be the dumpster across the street.
Dumpster, that's right out front here. It's a car parked in front of it and the truck is trying to get to it.
We made an announcement
Somebody's parked there again, it's a different car now.
tow it. Tow it. Better check. You don't know if it's yours. Nobody else seems to think it's theirs. I'm sorry, counsel. I get cranky late at night.
Really?
So you're not actually, so your position is, I only saw 229, I haven't seen 182. If you tell me there's one on 182, I haven't seen it, so I have no ability to say that that one's okay. 222, you say, is defective because it doesn't talk about the site plan. I get it, counsel. I'm fully up to speed. It's jurisdictional, counsel, so I know I marked two separate notices. I know Mr. McCann is very, dare I say, overconfident in his abilities. What are we doing? We're coming back next month, so you want to roll the dice on the notice and keep moving forward? You want to renotice and deal with the objectives, the objections to the substance in a month? Counsel, I don't know if you're entitled to notice. I know Mr. McCann is going to provide that notice to you so that you know that it's happening on Mr. Black, August 12th.
That is correct, counsel.
What's the pleasure? I don't like to litigate over jurisdictional issues that are, we're going to be back on August 12th. I've spoke more than both of you, and we've wasted a half hour of the acting chair's time.
No.
I'm teasing. It's not a waste of time. These are all legitimate legal issues.
So I,
This is yours.
so the applicant's position is we serve two separate notices in accordance with the requirements of the MLUL.
Okay?
But if you don't decide that the notices are valid now, then you're going to have to make that decision a month from now, I guess, because they're going to raise the same objection, are they not?
Yeah, it's a standing objection, but if you're telling me that you don't want to renotice and you want to stand on your notice, I'm telling you, okay, you're the applicant. You got everything to lose, not me. I'm going to look at it between now and...
Do you want to look at it now? Because you looked at it 2 weeks ago, a month ago, on May 27th, and you determined it to be valid.
She has not seen it.
That doesn't
So-
really matter, does it?
When she continues to raise the objection as to whether it's valid or not,
Well, anybody can object to everything that they want, but at some
Yes.
point, you're going to have to decide that if this affidavit of service provided proper notice to the proper person under proper entities under the MLUL. I was hoping you would decide that tonight.
I already decided that, right? I reviewed it, and I've decided that it was proper.
Okay,
Now she's raising her objection.
okay, so then,
So
fine.
if you want to stand on that
That's
and stand on my position last month
from May 27th.
from May 27th,
Okay, so the objection is on the record. It's
the
raised,
objection's on the
and we
record,
will move on August 12th, whatever that date was.
August 12th.
Fair enough.
But in the interim, I would ask either staff or council to look at how, I mean, there's an HOA. They manage the property. But is there not a master deed who determines the
We
ownership?
go by the tax assessor list, so.
Oh, I get that, but I'm
Council may
saying-
not agree with that position.
Well, I'm having a trouble as a citizen who lives here, who lives in a condo,
That's the
who's
law.
part of.
That's
well, I-
the law,
Well,
Mr.
but let me,
Lipsky.
but let me just say this, is the law is, right, it's there. But the question I guess I have is if there's this property, and, all right, so there's an HOA. They don't, I don't know that they have any skin or ownership of that. But some entity in there does, and it may not be reflected on the record for whatever reason.
And then they're, if I could answer, Commissioner, Councilman, they're just not entitled to notice. I deal with this all the time with
Sure you
homeowners
do.
associations. I noticed the entity that's entitled to notice under the law. If they have an umbrella HOA, that condo association that received my notice is obligated to tender it to the HOA and put them on notice.
Right.
Because the law doesn't require me to notice anybody other than the entities on the tax records.
Right, so I guess my question is not necessarily to you. You've made that clear.
Condo Association 3 should have given the notice to the homeowners association. It's that simple. And the MLU does not require me to serve any single condo owner, but I think you know that already.
Right, yeah.
The law only requires me to serve the condo association listed on the tax record.
And we see this all the
That is
time where the condo owners, right, say, oh, we didn't get notice. The association got it. They have some management company that doesn't send it to all, whatever the case may be. So,
An HOA is treated exactly the same as a regular condo owner.
But here's the
not entitled
reality.
to notice.
somehow, some way,
I will give the notice
this
to
room
council.
got filled with people that want to be heard. So somehow they have noticed that this is happening.
But we're objecting.
Understood.
Jurisdictional.
Understood. And that's preserved, and nobody's going to take that away. But it's not as if this is happening and nobody knows it's happening. We've got a room full of people that want to be heard, have the right to be heard, are interested, but they're here. And they're all going to come back on August 12th, and they're going to sit through hours of riveting testimony.
On that note, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
August 12th.
August 12th.
August 12th.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Council.
guys. Thank you. Yeah, well, I will entertain a motion.
No, Chair,
to-
we have resolutions.
Yeah, I know, that's what I was going to say.
If everybody could exit quietly and walk down the hall before you begin speaking, the board has additional work of the people to
Resolution
do.
for the City of New Jersey City. The applicant is Usher Levy, 42-46 Van Nostrand Avenue, Jersey City, New Jersey, Block 25901, Lot 44. That case is P2023-0093, decided on May 27, 2025, memorialized on July 15, 2025, for minor subdivision. Applicant 538 Palisade LLC, address is 538 Palisade Avenue, Jersey City, New Jersey, Block 2401, lots 1416, decided on February 25th, memorialized on July 15th. Application for preliminary and final major site plan approval.
Guys.
That case number is P2024-0124. Applicant is Newport Associates Development Company for a one-year extension of preliminary major site plan approval, 770 Washington Boulevard, formerly 150 River Drive, Jersey City, New Jersey, Block 7302, lots 3.1 3.12, 3.16, and 3.05, to be known as Lot 3.05, 3.16, 3.17, 3.18, and 3.19. That case number is P2025-014. Applicant Port Liberty Apartment LLC for Administrative Amendment 190 Chapel Avenue, Jersey City, New Jersey, Block 27503, Lots 16.01, also known as Lots 13, 14, 16, and 17. Case number is P2025-0016. Applicant Moshe Tuber, address is 89 Neptune Avenue, Jersey City, New Jersey, Block 30101, Lot 3. Decided on June 24, 2025. The applicant, it was for minor site plan approval. Case number is P2024-0207. Resolution of the Planning Board for the City of Jersey City approving minor site plan. Case number is P2025-0034, submitted by T-Mobile Northeast LLC, 319 Grand Avenue. Applicant is 135 Garfield Avenue LLC, 135 Garfield Avenue, Jersey City, New Jersey, Block 30003, Lots 28, decided on Tuesday, May 27. Applicant for preliminary and final major site plan with C variance. That case number is P2024-0035. Applicant is Jared Pollard. Address is 207-209 Holiday Street, Jersey City, New Jersey, Block 20102, Lots 67 and 68, decided on June 24, 2025. Its application for minor site plan approval with C variance. Case number is P2024-0227. Applicant 221 Nanda LLC. Address is 221-223 Nanda Avenue, Jersey City, New Jersey, Block 14701, Lot 5. Decided on June 24, 2025. Application for minor site plan approval. That case number is P2024-0165. Applicant 359-361 Johnston LLC. Address is 359 Johnston Avenue, Jersey City, New Jersey, Blocks 17403, Lots 1 and 2, decided on June 24, 2025, for preliminary and final major site plan approval with C variance. Case number is P2024-0173. Applicant West Side Avenue Holding LLC. Address is 772, 788 West Side Avenue, Jersey City, New Jersey, Block 16301, Lots 139, 60, 61, 63, 64, and 65. Decided on June 24, 2025. Application for preliminary and final site plan and minor subdivision approval at C variance. Case number is P23024. Applicant is GND Journal Square Holding LLC for preliminary and final major site plan approval, 158-165 Van Wigan Avenue and 121 Tonelli Avenue, Jersey City, New Jersey, Block 9301, Lots 4 and 17. That case number is P2024-0208. Applicant is 628 Summit Avenue LLC for amended final major site plan approval, 628 Summit Avenue, formerly 622, 628 Summit Avenue, Block 6207, Lots 21.01, formerly Lots 21, 22, 23, and 24, Jersey City, New Jersey. Case number is P2025-0085.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
I said it before.
We'll have a roll call.
Acting Vice Chair Gongadin.
Aye.
Commissioner Wick. Commissioner Stamato.
Yes.
Commissioner Lipsky.
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Desai. Commissioner Patel. And Acting Chairman Dr. Gonzalez.
Aye.
Motion carries all in favor to memorialize resolutions.
Thank you. Do we need executive session?
No.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Okay. Thank you, guys. And thank you. You rocked it right there.